the accused. Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor Gary Beekler. Gary, my friend, it is good to see you. How are you today?
Oh, just peachy dandy. Just like everybody else.
Yes, everyone else is having such a great time these days.
Yes, so wonderful. Yeah,
it is.
It has been a little crazy. So I went on vacation to look for another place of residence, get that whole ball rolling. And I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. It's just California is a mess. I know it's not the only state that's a mess. But in particular, San Francisco's a mess, and we're going to have to make a lot of serious life changes quickly. And it hasn't been fun, but acceptance is the key part of recovery. It is something I am doing right now, and I can still wake up and smile because I still got my family. Things are still good. We got this channel. We got each other. We got the Fandom menace. We've still got some pop culture to talk about and keep our mind off things. So it's not all bad. I try to remember to stay in my attitude of gratitude. And that's all we can do right now. So instead of sitting around and complaining, we just do something. And that's kind of what we do around here, us common sense folks. We try to do something about it. We speak out when we can. We do something when we can. And yeah, it's all part of this wonderful thing we call life in 2020, which has just turned out to be. It started. I thought the year started out okay, but I'm talking like the first couple of weeks, folks, and then after that, it's been a little weird, but it'll get better eventually.
It's like they've been applying the suck to the cake with a thick knife, just a icing of suck over 2020, just everywhere you look, from skyscraper sized asteroids heading to Earth to the beer bug to riots and it's just
cancel culture going
culture
nuts.
Thick.
Robert
Cancel
Meyer Burnett.
Culture, I don't know, man. It's an SJW thing. Cancel culture is like mining outrage for your own benefit. And it is a tactic that we, the Fandom Menace, are seeing through
every second. And that's why they try to quote unquote discredit us, because we can see through this BS. And the worst part about it is the worst victims of it sign off on it. Hollywood absolutely signs off on this stuff. And they're the ones with the most to lose. Honestly, they work for giant corporations, and that stuff can be hung over your head all the time. And that's why I heard our friend Jeremy talking about this. This is why I haven't taken a sponsor yet. I've gotten really close, and the one I said yes to never called me back. So that's probably good. And and that's why we thank you guys for supporting us this whole time. So words cannot express our gratitude for all of you in the chat, and welcome to the Inquisition. I am here with the future ruler of Earth, of course, Dictor Van Doomcock. We are going to talk about Dave Filoni's comments from who knows when, and we're going to talk about Doctor Who. We're going to talk about the comic book industry, and did DC Comics essentially end the comic book? Because I think that's a good question right now.
Yeah.
And and quite honestly, if you're a current comic shop owner, if you listen to people who are currently in the industry, that's not, I understand why they wouldn't be that biased. And it's kind of interesting being able to watch it from outside and see all this take place. I would probably have a different opinion of it if I was currently working in it and worried about paying my bills. But unfortunately, I'm not, and I'm glad I'm not. And we will definitely get into that. But you made a video. Did it come out Friday? Did it come out Thursday?
Yes,
Friday?
yes, it did.
Yeah. So you made a video about Dave Filoni.
I did. And it got sandboxed by YouTube, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting you know. I mean, I don't know. A topic this hot, and it just underperformed.
I didn't get a
Underperformed.
notification. I
Yep.
did not get a notification. So
Well, there you go. Once again, the truth being suppressed, my channel being having the thumb on the scale. I don't appreciate it, but there you go. Yeah. Well, you know, I saw an article by the inestimable Ichibaka, who is one of the greatest researchers of the Fandom Menace, along with Data Racer, for example. Data Racer is absolutely fantastic in that regard as well. And I send a shout out to both of them. They are absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I immediately was like, holy shit. I cannot believe that this video turned up. Now, I'm told, or some people have said that, I mean, it's been around or something. I don't know. I'd never seen it before. It's new to me. And I was shocked. I was shocked. And I went ahead and I just I just let old Dave speak for himself. And then I interspersed my comments, and I was offended. I was deeply offended by what he said. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I just call it as I see it. I knew some people would be upset, but you know, when you get an actual recording with video of a guy like basically saying 180 degrees of what we thought he stood for, you got to call it out. You've got to talk about it. Now, does it represent what he means now? I don't know. Let him go ahead and speak out about it if he wants to. I mean, there's been all sorts of different arguments on, and there's, you know, various splits along the lines of that opinion. But the nice thing about this, at least mostly, is that people can have honest disagreements about this. Now, Dave has been well regarded in the Fandom Menace for a long time. And a lot of people have a hard time letting go of something like that. And I'm not saying even the people should necessarily, but this was some information that I thought people should see. And it obviously was information that a lot of people did not have, because mostly people were like bugging out about it. And I just think it was worth mentioning. And those are my comments on his comments, you know, right out of his mouth. Now, if he means something different, if he recanted and we just didn't know about it, then I will take that into account and possibly revise my my view of those comments. But some things are so bad that when you say them, it's hard to take them back. I mean, some people have said this is like a hostage video, you know, like he was forced, Kennedy forced him to read this stuff. Well, then he shouldn't have read it with such verve and elan. He shouldn't have been like rolling his eyes on cue and delivering the punchy delivery and holding for laughs and basically having a sarcastic sneer throughout it. Usually when somebody reads a hostage video, their eyes are darting to and fro nervously. They're obviously unhappy. It's ironic because the video I did before this one was Ronald D. Moore alleged to have been giving credit to and validation to Picard, Star Trek Picard. And so it was in print, and I looked at the print and I did a similar breakdown. But now we didn't have his tone, we didn't have his words, but just looking at an exegesis of the text, it was like, oh wow, it was cool. It was really cool seeing Patrick and you know, and Frakes and, you know, them back on the screen. It was cool. Well, yeah, that was cool. That's all he said. He was damning with faint praise, damning with faint praise. And that was my view on that. But I call it like I see it. Filoni was not condemning the Fandom Menace faintly. It seemed sincere in its delivery, in its eye rolling, in all the nonverbal cues, and the way that it was delivered. So, in my opinion, it was insulting. I don't know. You saw it, obviously. Yep. What did you think?
I did. You know, I just thought it was in line with the entire mentality of Lucasfilm. I've never felt strongly or against Dave Filoni in any way.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah. I mean, he's He does the Clone Wars, which was pretty good. I don't feel as strongly about it as a lot of people do. That's cool. That's cool. And I was really hot and cold on Rebels. There were some good episodes. There were some really bad episodes, in my opinion. Tom Baker was in it though. That was cool. So I saw it of just more of the same. I wasn't surprised, but I'm also, that's how Lucasfilm feels about the fans, and that's not going to change. And that is an important part to this whole movement. Is it in my opinion, it's not just about a product. It's about an attitude towards your fan base. And what Dave Filoni did, I can't get into his head. I don't know if he genuinely felt that way or not, or if he was just pandering to a room, which, I mean, I would tend to think he was pandering to a room. And he was really playing up something that Disney has been playing up. And that's the disingenuous part. That's the part that does anger me, is Disney created this straw man from the get-go to make it look like they were doing this stunning and brave thing by casting a woman in Star Wars. They're like, what, a woman in nobody, I don't know. I seem to remember when The Force Awakens came out that people were talking about the Mary Sue stuff after the movie came out. Prior to the movie coming out, honestly, I personally didn't see. Now, I wasn't looking for a bunch of it either at the time, but I just didn't see a lot of people going, oh my God, there's a girl starring in Star Wars. I mean, because I didn't care. I don't think anybody cared. I think we were excited that Han, Luke, and Leia were going to be in a movie together. Again, this is before we saw it. And it's starring, I was interested. I've said it before, I said it again. I was interested in Finn. That was the one thing that interested me. I'm like, ooh, that looks cool. And we all know how it played out. And this was started by Disney. Fans don't start things. They react to things. Movements happen naturally due to some offense within the narrative, outside, or sometimes, in this case with Disney specifically, it's both. It's absolutely both. And Dave Filoni just saying this is more of the same to me. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. And if you're a fan of Filoni, that's cool. If you're a fan of Star Wars, that's cool. You got to understand, we all have individual takes on this. And I think that's the good thing that's come out of this, is it's absolutely smashed any narrative that this is an echo chamber at all. So we can kiss that one goodbye. Kiss my ass if you still think so. We all have very different opinions on Star Wars there. And I think it also brings another good question up that I'll get to in a second, but it shows it's not an echo chamber, period. We are individual channels. We are individuals who have individual opinions, but guess what? We can still be friends because we're adults, and we don't want to bring Twitter logic into this place where you can't have two different opinions on one single issue, or two different takes on one single issue. There are multiple layers to things, and nobody is absolutely right or nobody's absolutely wrong. But the Fandom Menace has always been united in the principle of respecting the fan and keeping identity politics out of Star Wars. That's now it's branched out into Doctor Who and Star Trek, and what gets confused, and again, it's a disingenuous argument, is they think we're talking about politics. We're talking about identity politics, very divisive brand of politics. And boy, are we seeing the consequences play out in real life right now, which is what we've been talking about for years. We want to keep the things that are out there that unite people. Star Wars was a uniting force. Star Trek was a uniting force. Doctor Who was a uniting force. And none of these things are anymore. And it's because of the establishment corporations using these things, because Hollywood at some point rebranded from the entertainment industry to the influence industry. Problem is, they're not good at it. They're just flat out not good at influencing a lot of people. They're pretty damn good at entertaining people. They've been doing it for 100 years. And maybe some people are still doing that. But the one good thing it does bring up is, why are we here? Why do we do this? And we all have our each individual take. It just kind of happened to me. I was here to review television, but then I got in it because I started seeing through the bullshit, and so did you. And we all came at it at a different angle. And we're still friends. So that's the best part about it. And we could still, I mean, there's argument that I was a little surprised to see the argument still going on Twitter, and that's Twitter. That's fine. But you know what? You and I are friends with Jeremy, and we're going to continue to be friends with Jeremy. And that's
right.
That's
I
it.
mean, I don't really follow Twitter. I haven't followed Twitter like in a month or so. In turn, it's just too full of toxicity and too full of bullshit. But I just kind of popped on to actually message you about the Inquisition tonight, and then I saw Jeremy had been forced to post a tweet saying, I have not said anything bad about Doomcock, and you know, I've defended him many times on the channel and all this stuff, and we've got no problem. And I'm like, of course we don't. And then rather than like try to follow what is going on or I don't care, I don't want any part of it, I just sent out a tweet just expressing absolute and unqualified support for D-Day Cobra himself, Jeremy, and also then for Ichibaka as well, just in case they were trying to pit Ichibaka against Jeremy. I didn't know. I don't have time to follow Twitter threads and try to figure out who's right and who's wrong and blah, blah, blah. I don't pick sides when friends are fighting. It's just, I stay out of it. It's just a thing. They're both my friends, and not that they even were, but I was just saying, I sent out a thing saying I stand with Ichibaka as well. You know, I don't know why they try to manufacture this drama and this bullshit, but I'm sick of it.
Yeah. And I don't I mean, same as you, I just saw it flash in front of me as I was sharing my video today. And if people are having a debate with Jeremy can hold his own. Okay. He doesn't need a white knight. And I'm not saying anybody else who is debating Jeremy is wrong either. So
not at all. But I just didn't want to be used as a weapon against Jeremy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be a wedge. I just wanted to make it quite clear. Hey guys, I don't know what's going on, but I have no problem with Jeremy. He's a brother and he's a great guy.
And well, I mean, the argument that was on the Friday Night Tights, that was an hour long. I mean, they weren't, Jeremy wasn't referencing your video because he hadn't seen the video yet. Az had seen your video. And by the way, they're still friends too, and they'll be back.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's cool. This is how I used to argue, with, my friends down in San Diego. I mean, this is how this is part of it. This is, when I worked in the auto industry, I would get into arguments with techs and porters, and we would scream and yell, and we would have to go back. And I have seen fights, and I have seen those guys go out for beers afterwards or go out for lunch the next day. Or I've seen two brothers throwing at each other in the auto industry. This is just how dudes do it. I mean, and it's, you know what, afterwards, it's absolutely fine and forgotten. And that is the beauty of it. So it doesn't last for days and days and grudges and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, I might have a couple bruises, but we're cool, right? All right, cool. There you go. Odin
But
Gate.
that's the thing about the Filoni speech. I mean, no matter when it happened or what the context was, whether he was pandering to a room, without respect, we reject. And I did not see respect in that speech. Regardless of, there was no respect in that speech. I'm sorry. So you can go ahead and interpret it. You can, explain it. He can apologize for it. All I was going by was what I saw there. And what I saw there was a lack of respect for those of us who have been so vociferously devoted to Star Wars for most of our lives, and misrepresenting our arguments, mocking us because of, implying that we're a sexist. And then that bullshit about all Luke did was hold the door for Leia, and then she was kicking out. I mean, he said that. I'm sorry. Them's fighting words in my neck of the woods. After all the shit that we have been put through, to see that video, it's just something that does not go down well. Without respect, we reject.
Yep.
And that's why I called it out. And he can go ahead and address it or not. He probably won't. He doesn't care. But There you go.
And that was Kathleen Kennedy's plan from the very first minute she took over. Was this is going to be about Leia, and we're going to make it about Leia. And then, they couldn't. So believe me, that's going to happen when they remake the original trilogy. The clock is ticking on that. It's only a matter of time. Now, I think I was convinced that was the next thing they're going to do, but then somebody brought up in the chat, what about a Darth Vader movie? I'm like, they could do that first. That could buy them a little time. That would do amazingly well. I think that would probably bring fans back. And that's the question that gets brought up here too, is there are some of us who are completely done with Star Wars, like forever, not going to buy a single thing from that brand ever again. And there's some of us going, okay, we're really pissed about The Last Jedi, but we're still Star Wars fans. And, both of you, you could still be a Star Wars fan. I'm just going to like the old stuff and try to enjoy the old stuff, but I'm not going to, there's nothing new they can give me that would interest me.
No, I'm not giving them any money anymore. They would have to completely switch regimes. They would have to apologize profoundly and sincerely. They would have to decanonize this disgrace, this mess, passing as the sequel trilogy. The whole thing would just have to be scrapped, and apologies would have to be made, and some kind of restitution would have to be made as well. And I don't know what that would be, but without respect, we reject. It's a simple mantra, but I think an effective one to guide us through bullshit to truth.
For me, it would take, and this goes for Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Star Wars. For me, it would have an olive branch to the fans, an acknowledgement that there was a problem with the brand, and we are working very hard to genuinely fix it, and then show me, because words are wind. And if you did that, then I'm always willing. I mean, second chances, sure. But right now we've been burned too much, and you're bringing out the same people making the same decisions. So I'm not an idiot. We're not Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football. There's a point where you just go, okay, I'm not going to let her pull the football on me for like the 19th time. That's done. I did give them plenty of chances. I didn't like The Force Awakens, but I saw the trailer for The Last Jedi. Didn't think much of Rian Johnson. I'm like, all right, I'll give this thing a shot. Had an open mind about it, and I thought it looked kind of cool. And boy, was I wrong. So, and then that was it. That was that. Star Wars was dead to me. And I remember I did a podcast called Star Wars Let It Be. I'm just going to go. And I didn't talk about it for months. So I had let go back then. I kind of dipped in to chronicle its demise, and that's what I will continue to do. But as far as having feelings, so when at the point when I heard Dave Filoni's words, I'm already checked out. So I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly how they feel. That's exactly how they feel about, and I appreciate their honesty. I do, because it makes it so much easier to walk away. And there's no amount of Clone Wars or prequels they can roll out that will ever get me back without an acknowledgement that there was a problem. And customer service is important. And this is a new era. Hollywood hates it, but if you hate it so much, get off Twitter, get off social media. Then you're out of the customer service business. Then your art is speaking for itself. But man, these people,
it's not art, man. It's not art. It's shit.
Art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're making art, that's one thing. Sure. I mean, indie cinema, small voices, strong directors, brilliant writers. That's if it's visionary, sure. The garbage that they are doing absolutely is customer service. Isn't in the same way that preparing a fine meal is customer service. I mean, you are giving your product to consumers to consume, whether it is a film or whether it is a meal or wine or something. You are selling a product. And that means you have to be responsive to if the audience wants your product, if the audience approves of your product, if the audience is disappointed or angry with your product. That level of customer service always will pertain to Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah. So exactly. And we're each of us are here on these channel for different reasons. For me personally, if I had to pick a quote unquote adversary, it would be the access media. That's the thing I go after the most. Sure, there's some big creatives that I go after. I try to stay far away from going after individuals. Maybe an actor, but that's it. No crew members, no fans, no other fan channels. If you're like a big old fan channel for The Last Jedi, then rock on, man. You'll never hear from me. But I try to keep it to the big picture as much as I can. That doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. That's just what I do. Okay, that's just my thing. And it goes day by day. I don't generally have a plan. I go by my gut on this. So, it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see this play out, and I think it does bring up a real interesting question. And people are all here for different reasons, but. We wanted good Star Wars. We didn't get good Star Wars, and we will not get good Star Wars anytime soon. And if it is, it's going to be a side story in a larger story I don't care about anymore. It's been completely ruined. There's nothing they can. Mark Hamill will not come back to the role of Luke Skywalker. When he did, they made him a grumpy uncle walking around in a bathrobe and sucking soy milk. I mean, and they did it deliberately. And the fact is, I do think they're genuinely surprised at the reaction. I think that Hollywood thought they were in lockstep with everything. So when they presented this stuff, they're like, oh man, we're going to hit this nail perfectly on the head with the fandom. And they were utterly shocked when half the fandom went, what the frack? And same thing goes for Doctor Who and Star Trek. And then Disney, of course, being the monolithic corporation that they are, wanted to go out and manipulate the truth. And that's what they did in lockstep with their access media allies. And they started making up the truth, because the truth of the matter is half the audience was split. And they were trying to convince us for 2 years that people like this movie and this was a good movie, when it's not. It's just flat out not. And instead of people just backing up and saying, okay, maybe it wasn't that good. And a lot of people changed their minds as time went on. You saw how that evolved. Yes. And listen, there's hypnosis too. And that's not it's not a judgment. We've all been through it. I suffered from hypnosis too. I'm a fan. I get hyped up about stuff. I get excited. So it does blindside you when your favorite thing not only is shit. It's one thing to be shit, but the reason it was shit, you can see through. It was that transparent that they like set out to deconstruct Luke Skywalker. Why? To subvert it? It was not an artistic decision. Please stop with that. For the love of God. It was done for Kathleen Kennedy. It was done for her politics. And it was so freaking obvious in the first nanosecond it happened. And fighting against this disingenuous access media for 2 goddamn years has been frustrating when they know they're lying. They know they're lying and they don't care.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They have no problem lying to us. And it's just, it grinds you down. I mean, it sharpens your temper to a hair trigger. And then seeing something like this video, it pulls that hair trigger, it's just like people snap, or they cling to whatever belief that has sustained them through this whole thing. I'm pretty objective. I have not been married to Filoni in any way. I haven't thought badly of him. I haven't thought that well of him. I've just been pretty neutral on the whole thing. And so I was surprised, because I've heard that he's in, Favreau's camp. And that, he values George Lucas and George Lucas's vision. But holy crap, man. I mean, obviously from this video, it was made after, Force Awakens and after Rogue One. So, maybe not Last Jedi. I don't know. But either way, to say those things is very hurtful.
Disappointing.
Difficult.
Very disappointing coming from Dave Filoni. I don't know if I honestly never looked at him as a good guy. He's friends with Lucas. I am of the opinion, and I could be wrong on this one, that they're all buddy. That there might be some friction here and there, maybe creatively, but at the, when they go home, they're friends. They go out to eat with each other. Kind of like how I feel about all the politicians. They might go at each other all day, but they go out to eat together and they hang out. So that's I'm of that school, but I have heard very recently, because it's a lot of people are pretty tight-lipped as far as there's inside sources from Lucasfilm, but there's not a bunch of gossip out there in the world that I notice. But I don't go to Star Wars sites every day. Okay, I don't. But Kathleen Kennedy's, she looks to be a very controlling person, and that's what we're hearing. She's not a very humble person. Not surprised there. We've seen Bob Iger have to apologize for her essentially twice in public when this was her. I mean, Solo was her train wreck. And Bob Iger had to come out and say, well, maybe we put out too many Star Wars. No, Kathleen Kennedy sucked.
That was one of the funniest arguments, is that Star Wars fatigue.
Right.
I think that's so funny. It's like, what you're saying, every year we get 2 hours of Star Wars and that's too much. That's just hilarious. It's hilarious. What about binge watching, Bob? I will binge watch the entirety of Expanse, whether it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes. Same thing with Battlestar Galactica, things like that. I will binge watch a season if I get the chance as a fan. Now, it's bad for the property. I don't advocate it, but when it's up there, might as well watch it. I will plunge through it. So that's 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours of a show in a day or two. So you're telling me that Star Wars fatigue, 2 hours of Star Wars a year is Star Wars fatigue? You are so full of shit, Bob.
Totally.
You're so full of shit.
No,
but the thing is, I disagree that he and Kathleen Kennedy are not friends. They are not friends. Kathleen Kennedy apparently was quite angered that she was not mentioned in Iger's memoir. And Iger not mentioning her in his memoir, I think, is a very, very pointed thing, because he's a creature of Hollywood.
I did not know that.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I haven't read it. So, I mean, if I'm mistaken, but that's what I heard, that he had not properly acknowledged Kathleen Kennedy in his memoirs in terms of her achievements.
I can't remember. I read the Star Wars.
I think he mentioned her in conjunction with bilking George Lucas. When he said, I may have misled George Lucas in that little section, but I don't know. I haven't read the thing. That's what I was told. If that's incorrect, then so be it.
Those books bore the
out
of me. Yeah, I listened to half of it and read half of it. And honestly, I was driving down to San Diego at the time, so I was kind of fading in and out. Yeah, it was basically, he's not running for president now, by the way, folks. That's not happening.
No.
That is not happening. Yeah, I think I could believe that. Yeah, I could see Kathleen Kennedy as this prickly. I mean, this is the kind of person that we've talked about this, but goes to Saturday Night Live, and the first thing she notices is there's no female camera operators. Man, that sounds like a ton of fun. Frank Marshall he must always have like this he smiles, but his smile never reaches his eyes, and it almost looks like in his eyes, like, please help me. Please.
Yes. Well, that's the look I imagine on Ron Moore's face when he was asked about Star Trek Picard, the kind of help me, that kind of desperate darting.
I love it when they try to, and believe me, that art though, and I almost believe that every CBS article is a reaction to somebody's video. So it must have been reacting to somebody's video that they needed to come out. Look, this famous person likes Star Trek. Well, this famous person who's contractually obligated because he still probably gets residuals from Star Trek. So I doubt he's going to go out and besmirch any new Star Trek. You would have to have a big set of knockers. Now, Mark Zickery does, but he does it very respectful. In a very respectful way, but Mark Zickery does have the nads to come out and call it out. That's why I do respect that man. And
well, it was even worse than that, Gary, because in his comment, which was only like, I don't know, maybe you could fit it in a little over a tweet. I mean, it was very, very short comment that they built a whole article around.
Yeah.
He was speaking from the perspective in the quote of seeing it at the premiere. where he had been invited to the premiere. I don't know if this quote was pulled from the premiere or he was mentioning it was cool to see them. Well, sure, it's always cool to see something at a premiere when you're getting open bar and gifts and and all sorts of considerations. He was almost talking about the experience of that, in my opinion, rather than merely Picard on its own. He talked about it was cool to see Patrick in action again and up there on the screen. That was essentially what it was.
Yeah.
They tried to make it that an endorsement.
God, the Access Media has been doing that a lot lately. I'm blanking on the movie now. It was I can't remember what movie it was. It was a movie that was a stinker, and no, it was the New Mutants. Yeah. So the director for the New Mutants said, "Well, I hope we get a trilogy." And then freaking John Campea is doing a live stream. There's 4 articles going, "There's going to be a New Mutants trilogy," and it's like, no. The guy said he hopes he has one. There,
Right.
okay, and that was it. And they're just, I know they're desperate for stuff right now because there's not a ton to talk about, but actually there is. There's just so little the Access Media will talk about genuinely.
Right. They don't want to talk about the things that there are to talk about because it doesn't cast them in a good light or fit into their narrative.
Exactly. And they're giving up good money to do it. So it's not about money. And well, this is, the companies don't pay attention enough to care, because if they did, every one of these hack journalism sites, journalism for gaming, would have written an article about Naughty Dog striking down YouTubers, and they could have written about that for a month, and their ad money would have been brilliant, because people would have, oh my God, the hack journalists are actually writing about this stuff, because it was actual news. Because we had a company out there trying to silence people because they screwed up and leaked, well, their entire game apparently. And of course it was hackers. I'm sorry, it was hackers, which is impossible. But yeah, they give up that. Listen, they didn't talk about, if any one of these sites wanted to just flip the script on, like, say Screen Rant. Okay. Say Screen Rant wanted to break the narrative, and all of a sudden they wanted to be about, let's criticize The Last Jedi. They would have been their site would be huge right now. They would have so many people going to it, but they're all lockstep. And we're seeing this throughout with the mainstream media as well. So it's, thank you, Access Media. That's all I got to say is thank you. You're walking away from genuine stories. Number one, genuine stories that people will read for entertainment, because we're just talking about entertainment here. So nobody's making anything up. Nobody's rage farming. I mean, Naughty Dog went out and did this, and you can have a side on it, whatever. But it is interesting news. It's worthy. They write about so much. If you're going to write about a trilogy that's not really happening with the New Mutants, you would most certainly write about a giant corporation subsidiary trying to take out independent content creators. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, they are absolutely reliant upon and beholden unto corporate power.
Yep.
They rely on corporate access to get early previews and cooperation in their articles, and they will not bite the hand that feeds them. Therefore, by default, when you've got companies like Disney that have gobbled up a huge share of the Hollywood market, you don't dare cross them if you are beholden to them. If you need those previews, those perks, those invites, you don't dare. So it's unfortunate. It's going to be a rare time when the Access Media will ever give you any kind of truth. And the only time that they will is when they absolutely have no choice. I mean, when they saw how badly Star Wars shit the bed with the Rusev Soy Woker, even shills like the Variety guy, Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
Vanity Fair guy, right? Esquire.
Forbes.
Forbes. Forbes.
Scott Mendelsohn.
Scott Mendelsohn. Yeah. Scott Mendelsohn. He just finally said, this is just a bad movie. He just had to.
It took him 80,000 articles, but he got there.
He finally just had to say, he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. I mean, it was that bad. It was that nakedly awful. It really was. It was such a hodgepodge, slapdash affair, the whole thing. My God, looking at it in retrospect, I mean, I've only seen it once. Once was quite enough. but in my mind, it's just this insane jumble of miscellaneous crap glued together with Elmer's glue and false hope. I don't know.
False
It
hope.
was just
That's
awful.
all it was.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, God damn. It is funny that it took him that long. I'm surprised he said it at all. It just came out of the blue. Maybe he was just like, man, maybe I should just finally come out and say it. I've got nothing else. I'm on 81,000 Star Wars articles here in Forbes. So.
Right.
Couldn't
they ground him down?
They ground him down, and we will sentence Dave Filoni in a second. We have 666 likes. 667 now. That's awesome. NK33 for $2 says, why hail and not sleet, thunder, tsunami, or smog? I don't know. When the hail, honestly, it might have started before this. I could be wrong, but I think the hail thing started with Hail Doomcock, didn't it? I'm pretty sure that's when I started doing it.
Yes, Hail Doomcock.
Yeah,
like Hail Caesar. I think ultimately it goes back to the days of Caesar, but future ruler of Earth, Hail Imperial.
I remember seeing
ambitions and that kind of thing.
Like before you even started live streaming,
yes,
because people would say it in my chats when we would just talk to you. Somebody go, Hail Doomcock. So
it evolved.
Yeah,
it was not something that I said to myself. So obviously,
no, that was one of those natural
people
things.
Started it, and it was just natural. Yes, it was organic, like much of the fandom is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, we've seen those other groups that tried to form come and go, and they fall apart before they even get started, because you can't start one of these things. It just happens, or it don't.
Yes.
Hail the Doomrotic Nerdcock for Route 69 for Australian $2. Hail, my friend. And welcome everyone. Welcome all the wonderful wrenches and stuff. And I dropped my first video in 10 days. So thanks for watching it, folks. And there'll be more. I took a vacation. I haven't unpacked my bag yet. I've been home for 3 days. I haven't unpacked my bag. There's a lot of work going on right now. A lot of things changing. I could be moving as soon as like couple months, so we'll see what happens there. Awesome. Bama Brad 1970 for $1.99. What are some good unexplained phenomenon channels? Well, that's actually a really good question, Bama, because there aren't many anymore. YouTube has seen fit to suppress them, so they've kind of left YouTube, and now you got to find, and they're harder to find. Podcasts, so many podcasts haven't taken off and haven't gotten a chance because there isn't a podcast platform like YouTube. YouTube's a very easy platform, and it's got an easy algorithm. Spotify's and all that stuff, it's like you're lost in a sea of stuff. So it's hard to find. Do you have any recommendations, Doomcock?
Creepy Little Book.
Yeah.
Was on YouTube. I think they're still there. Bedtime Stories, I think it was one. But unfortunately, Secure Team has apparently, I don't know. I don't get any notifications from them anymore. They were like over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, well
That's
over, yeah.
Absolutely bizarre. Yeah, almost 2 million.
He got demonetized. And I think he,
oh my God.
I think he just went off the rails after that. It's
because of paranormal. I mean, it's nothing he did wrong that I'm aware of. I
nope.
mean, I don't. Just paranormal.
It's just UFO stuff. It was like really harmless stuff, but that's YouTube, and like YouTube was built on that stuff. It has nothing to do
with the election, folks.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the upcoming election. It's paranormal inquiry, open-minded stuff, fun stuff. Art Bell has nothing to do with politics. Nothing.
Yep.
So I don't know why they're doing that. It has nothing to do with disinformation, or lying or fake news or any of that kind of shit. It's mostly sincere. I mean, there are hoaxers out there, but mostly people do it because they sincerely look up in the sky and wonder what's up out there. Look into the forest and wonder, could there be Bigfoot walking around and stuff like that.
There's people into that stuff.
No harm in that.
There's no harm in it whatsoever. Who's on YouTube right now, still is Richard Dolan. Richard Dolan's like the only
Yeah.
guy because he's very pragmatic with his approach towards that stuff. So try that one, and hope maybe it'll be Exozone someday. Picard Sucks, which is one of my newer favorite accounts here. Picard Sucks for $1.99. Where is Gary? I'm right here. Hello, I am back in San Francisco. In the whatever, I'm back at the Nerdrotic compound. So thank you for the $1.99. Clobberin' Times for $5. Hail, great Inquisitors. Just wanted to say you gents are the best. R.I.P. the great. Oh yes, thank you for bringing this up, Clobberin' Times.
Yes.
Denny O'Neil.
Yes.
We are rapidly losing all the comic book legends, and yeah, dude.
It's a big blow. He was the editor who ushered in the new era of Batman, turning Batman back into the detective he was always meant to be in the 70s. I still remember that issue. I've got that issue where Bruce Wayne moves out of Wayne Manor and moves into a modern apartment. He's saying, we're becoming outmoded dodos, Alfred. We've got to go ahead and change with the times. It was when Robin went off to college, and that was awesome.
What year is that? 70s?
I don't know the year,
early
but
70s. Yeah,
I think it was early 70s. It had to be from the style of art, and we were getting around into the Neil Adams era. I don't know if Adams drew that one or if it was Dick Giardello. Is that his? How do I pronounce his name?
Yeah, I never knew.
Giardello. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep. And that's
Jim
my
Aparo.
era. That's like, I watched the Batman TV show, and then I started buying Batman comics, and it was right around the same time, and I was like five or six, so I wasn't reading much of them. I was like, a bubble or anything, but I would just look at the pictures and try to draw on them and stuff. That's what defined Batman. It's still the best costume. And Denny O'Neil was such a great ambassador too. He had a great innovator, and one of the best things that he's all over it, by the way, is the History of Comics that the History Channel did back in 2003, right after X2 came out. And they felt like there were so many superhero movies back then, which is pretty funny. And he's in that. Watch that, by the way. I think it's on YouTube. I think you can find it on YouTube or find it free somewhere on Daily Motion. It's a great documentary. Watch any interview with this guy. He's he's old hippie, but he also knew how to write the other side. See, that's when you have like talented writers. And it's not about identifying with anything. It's about having actual talent and being able to put the human condition in different characters and write characters you might not look like or identify with, but can still make them real because you're talented. That's honestly, I never truly believed this was coming a lost art. I just thought it was watered down, but art will be art, and the talented people will rise up, and I'm not too sure anymore. Like I'm actually not too sure anymore. I think a lot of this garbage that we're going to getting is been signed off on by so many people. I mean, look at the CW's existence. It's just going to be okay. I blame the CW for why Star Trek is so schlocky. I think they just look over there and go, look what they're getting away with. Why do we have to work so hard? And we suck anyway because we have no talent. So let's just suck like we normally do and cash our paychecks.
No, it's true. I mean, I think this is a lost generation when it comes to artistic endeavors, or really any kind of endeavors. I mean, the problem with these last couple of generations is the fact that they do not question themselves. They do not have the self-loathing that is normally associated with artists. You have to have a certain degree of self-loathing. You have to have a certain degree of skepticism regarding your own talent in order to grow. When you fall in love with every damn thing you write, when you fall in love with every damn thing you draw, when you get a participation trophy just for showing up, it is not the kind of grit and adversity and dark nights of the soul that are required to create greatness. I have had many dark nights of the soul. I am not impressed with all the shit that I do. When I was teaching myself to write, I would literally spend hours on a single damn paragraph trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with it. Why is it not working? You have to look at your own work with a jaundiced eye, and you kind of have to hate yourself. That's why so many artists hate themselves. That's why so many artists eventually develop, dependency problems and so on, because then they take it too far. The trick is, when you are learning your craft, you've got to hate yourself. And then when you have gotten to a certain point in your craft where, you're actually good, then you have to forgive. You have to say, okay, you made it through the rain. You made it through the fire. You spend all those days tearing up your work, not being satisfied with mediocrity, not being satisfied with good enough. But they don't have that level of commitment because everything they do is wonderful. And they're told that from when they're kids. So there's a whole lost generation when it comes to art. And we shouldn't be surprised that it sucks, because you got to have a certain degree of suffering and pain. I'm sorry.
No, I think there's something to be said about that. The parents who said you can't make a living drawing, and the person who had enough gumption to draw anyway and do it, says a lot. And that was like Derek Robertson. He didn't go to school, and, his dad was cool about it, but he didn't think he would have a future in it. But then he did, because he kept doing it. And it he had that drive and determination, which is necessary. You can't see. The thing is, even if you have the talent, and there's a lot of people who have talent who will never make it because they don't have the thick enough skin for it, or they don't have the business acumen, or the drive and determination it takes to, because what you said, rejection.
To look at a hard, realistic look at what you do. You have got to have a distance. You've got to have both the optimistic child that wants to play, and then the stern taskmaster that looks at the results of that play and says, you know what, this stinks. Start again.
Yeah, it makes me. If I can pull this up, I maybe I can show this to you. I don't think this made it past an editor. Okay, this is from You Bought Me the Ocean. It's going to be a YA graphic novel coming out from DC about Aqualad, who's not Aqualad, and his boyfriend in New Mexico, in a landlocked state. By the way, look.
Oh my God!
That got printed professionally by DC Comics.
Look at that. Look at the incompetent framing. Look at the indifferent. Oh my God, that is terrible. Terrible. And
awful.
is that his little kingdom there in the aquarium? I see a little King Aquaman down
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's his little kingdom, his widow kingdom.
So which one is supposed to be Aquaman?
The one standing up, it's Aqualad. So
Aqualad. So
Aqualad.
that's Aqualad, huh?
Yeah. And here's another one. Hang on. Here's another one. This one's just as bad.
Jesus.
This one's just as bad. So he's pulling up the aquarium, and I don't want
to me. I'm saving the world.
Yes. And this passes for art nowadays. So we're in a dark time with art where ugliness is in. And it's kind of like the 70s a little bit. I mean, there was some good music in the 70s, but the fashion was god awful. You know how 60s fashion, especially men's and women's fashion in the early 60s, still looks good today. It's like timeless. It's that's how, the thin suits and the thin ties and, but 70s it's never looked good. It didn't look good in the 70s, Blake Seven costumes. I like Blake Seven. It's a great show. Those are terrible costumes. They're freaking terrible, especially Blake.
Kind of lifted out of a high school, edition of Robin Hood.
It looks like
they really do look like Robin Hood outfits.
Some things just don't transcend. So the art has not been now there is still some great art happening, but it's independent, and You know why comic books is such a precursor to everything else is because they're cheaper. They're cheaper to make. So the artists can produce these products first. So when you see a shift in the paradigm within art altogether, it used to be music because that was very cheap to make, and it is, but it's just music's not important anymore. Comics is still an art form that people feel passionate about. So you're seeing that change happen first. And that will spread, and it will take a few years for it to hit movies and television because they are where trends go to die. That's the one thing I fundamentally disagree with Robert Meyer Burnett. He's all Hollywood starts the trends. I'm all no. I hate to sound like this, but it's the streets that start the trends. It's the independent creator. It's you and me that start the trends. They start at a grassroots level and they are organic. And then Hollywood picks up on them and tries to adapt them and fucks them up and then makes them, over corporate, just overproduces them and then they die. And then you start a new one. So that's how it goes. But no, Hollywood does not start jack squat. They're the end user of that. So Dave Filoni. Let's sentence Dave Filoni. What do you think?
I don't know. Is there like a well of phoniness that we can toss him down? I don't want to.
I think he just invented it. The well of phony. The phony Filoni.
The phony Filoni well. The phony Filoni memorial well. Just kind of lower him down in the well. If he can make a case that he isn't phony or something, we can always crank him back up out of there.
Yeah.
I just, it's just like, I think the words themselves are the sentence. I mean, he's sentenced himself, and I don't know if he can convince people that he doesn't think that way anymore. I don't know. I don't either.
I think people change drastically when they get in that town. You know about that. I've seen it happen to friends of mine. So, I mean, drastically change, like their politics flip. I mean, just completely. And we've seen it to some people we used to enjoy. Now, were they always phony or are they being phony now? Well, I always think they evolve into their phoniness. Like Kevin Smith. I think Kevin Smith was a real dude at one point. He was one of us, and he's there, and now he's one of them. And you go to his podcast, and all he does is talk about scripts and what he's doing. And I mean, he's not interesting anymore as a Hollywood personality. He was much more interesting as a Jersey loser or that persona. This Hollywood, I mean, he's not very talented. I mean, that's the thing is he's a much better speaker than he is a writer, always has been. And when his anecdotal stuff with life was always the best stuff, but his actual product, some people like his movies. That's great. But I mean, he did one really great movie, like really great movie in Clerks. It's a masterpiece. I believe it. It defined a generation. But after that, it's been hit and miss, and he was anointed the king nerd. Now I'm glad it's him instead of like Will Wheaton, who was considered king of the nerds for a little while because he had a Twitter account. And thank God he left. But no, I just, yeah. I would tell people to steer clear of Hollywood now. I mean, we're in a whole new era. Just write your own comic book, write your own story, do your own thing, and try to put it on YouTube and try at least you have a much better chance of getting noticed on YouTube than going through the process of Hollywood, going through all those gates. You're going to have lots of gates you're going to have to go through and lots of compromising and lots of ass kissing. And you probably have to change your politics and change how you view about life. And you'll have to, again, compromise. And by the time you get there, you're not making your art for the most part. You're doing somebody else's art. And even if you make it to editor, right? That was the disappointing thing to me is I found out like there's no creativity at all in it. Like none. So it's like, I'd rather do my own thing. And it is so much, sometimes listen, it's riskier, but, the benefit, even if you don't make money off it, you did your thing and you didn't have to compromise on anything. And at very least, it'll be a wash.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni goes down the phony Filoni well Phony Filoni baloney well. And I mean, I again am not that surprised, but I am very, very detached from the situation. As far as I don't think these things are mutually exclusive when it comes to the product being good and there being good customer service. And I don't want customer service to be confused with you needing to kiss my ass. No, you do not need to kiss. I'm not the kind of person who needs my ass kissed or kicked or whatever. No, I need a good product and I need to be shown basic human respect. So not being called a Yahtzee. I don't care what they say politically or anything. Just, you know what? The best thing is silence. If some people just had shut up, if Rian Johnson had just shut up, he wouldn't have this fandom menace after him at all.
No, he wouldn't.
If he'd have just sorry, you didn't like my movie. Who cares? But they obviously got under his skin, deep under his skin, and we know that we're under the skin with the people at Star Trek because we've heard it, and good.
Yes,
good. Clobbering Times, thank you again for bringing up the late great Denny O'Neil. I'm going to give him a proper R.I.P. and I didn't want to do it my Doctor Who video. If I do a comic book video, I'll give him a proper R.I.P. in there and talk about him a little bit. He is just. That one hurt, man. I didn't know he was sick. I thought he'd be around for a little while. And I feel that one just as much as I felt Stan Lee. Honestly, we are losing too many good creators. And I heard Ethan say this, and I can't agree more. Since Stan is gone, the comic industry just seemed to have gone with him, Mm-hmm. And it's very sad what's going on with the comic book industry, and we'll get into that. Huron the Steadfast is a member at the Gandalf level. Awesome. Thank you very much. There will be a makeup member stream tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Casey Osowski for $10. Thank you both for what you do. You guys are what is keeping me from going nuts. Right back at you, Casey. I think you guys I don't want to speak for you, Doomcock, but you're keeping me from going nuts. And Mrs. Nerdrotic thanks you all. She does.
I absolutely do. And I want to send a shout out to Casey Osowski, my dear, dear friend. Tomorrow is his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And I just love you to death, Casey. Thank you so much for raising my spirits, for being my friend, for being just a wonderful soul. You are I can't find the words. You're an awesome fella, Casey, and I love you, man. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Casey. Piano Dean for $5. What's up, Piano Dean? Gary and Lord Doomcock, a pleasure to have you on a bit early and to be watching tonight. Hail to you. Hail to you. Yeah. So I brought this up in my video, and it got me all, stirred up about Doctor Who. Now, I wish I could. I've got some news for Doctor Who. I can't talk about it yet. I will be talking about it soon. But it's not necessarily good news. Okay. It's just,
well,
not.
I mean, how could it be?
No.
How could it be? I mean, you're saying something that doesn't need to be said. Of course it's not good news. How could it be?
Good news would have been canceled. It's canceled.
That would be good news. You're right. Other than that, though, other than it is out of our misery, there is no possible good news for the Doctor. There's none.
No. But with all the crazy canceling going on, and I brought this up with a bunch of people last week, and we've talked about it. It's just a matter of time until they go after that police on the police box. And this whole thing is ridiculous.
Oh boy.
Ridiculous. But you know how PC the BBC is. The BBC is PC, and they're crapping their PC BBC pants right now because they thought about this before I did or anybody else did. Believe me, there's somebody in their office went, "You do know that there is a problematic word on the TARDIS right now. So what are we going to do about this?" And in a British accent. And
yes,
of course, they're waiting for it to blow over. I am genuinely surprised that they have not approached the subject themselves and said, we will be taking the word police off the police box. Jody will fix the chameleon circuit or something. And then we'll go digitally erase it off of every frame of every episode, or we'll just cancel the series. I don't know. But it's stupid as hell what's going on right now. They've canceled Live PD. They canceled Cops. They went after Paw Patrol. And all these cop dramas, I don't know if it's, I believe me, once I have not been on Twitter very much either. And it's really, really nice. It's very nice to not be there because I don't have to look at Twitter because there was a moment where I would go back each hour and somebody else was getting canceled or something else was getting canceled. As a matter of fact, I think something happened tonight too. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so they're taking police off of everything. And yeah, half the dramas on CBS are cops, aren't they? So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. But I do think that, they're still out there making announcements for TV shows and stuff, folks. What the events of the last, I don't want to talk about them too much, okay, because we're here for escapism, but the events over the last 2 weeks have changed things drastically as far as the economy. So I can't see all these plans being made. I can't see half of them happening in a year.
No.
At all.
Hell no. I've said this. Listen, look, we see these things coming a mile away, way before other people do. And I have said, Picard season 2, Strange New Worlds, forget it. It ain't going to happen for another 2 years at least, if ever. And given the age of the participants and so on, I'm weighing in on never. So all this garbage about, we're going to do Strange New Worlds. Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's I'm not holding my breath. This is ridiculous.
I wouldn't at this point. No way. There is the, there's force majeure hanging over a lot of people. And there's also AT&T is, I was doing some research and I had thought, because I just Googled it, right? So I thought they were $151 billion in debt. No, they're $200 billion in debt. AT&T, who owns HBO Max, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, and somebody emailed me an article where they're trying to sell their games division or something like that with some fucking pretty big properties on it for $4 billion. Well, that's
a drop in the bucket.
And you think about it, the comic book industry altogether, everything with manga and with Scholastic brings in barely $1 billion. But Batman is worth a lot more than that. Superman's worth a lot more than that. So they can just hang on to him to do movies. And, and Ethan's been talking about this for a long time. Okay. And the decision for DC Comics to separate from Diamond was the first of a bigger decision. It was the first part of a bigger decision that's already been made. Okay, if you don't see that, and I'm talking specifically to my comic shop owning brothers and sisters out there, if you do not see the writing on the wall right fucking now, then you got to get your head out of the sand. They are going to end the comic book. They will still make it in some form or another, but they are breaking the deal. They're going to start selling them probably in bundles at Walmart or something like that. And maybe the direct market will just be prestige format. Who knows? Maybe they'll farm it out. Maybe they'll license out Batman to a specific, to like, I don't know, IDW. I'm just pulling a name out of my ass. But this will not be, they will not be making enough stuff to support a lot of comic shops who just were Diamond retail shops. And there's going to be a lot of comic book professionals out of work. And they're going to, remember, a lot of these comic book professionals have called anybody who goes to Indiegogo a Yahtzee. Just remember that. I want you to keep that in mind because a lot of them will be going there over the next 6 months and wanting your money. That dirty Yahtzee. And all of a sudden, they're in the customer service business. Well, how the F do you think that's going to be any different for Hollywood if these big parent companies are running out of money? You know, they're not going to be able to produce 20 superhero movies that cost billions of dollars to make when you can probably make a cheaper film somewhere and do something else, or make a TV show, and you're not going to have as many theaters to open up in. They put Tenet back. So these are all connected, folks. These big parent companies, this is why it's bad when they swallow up other companies, especially AT&T in particular was a company that was in debt. It was part of they had DirecTV. So they were a dying corporation, and they decided to buy something to stay in it. But all they did was create bigger debt, create more debt. And this is what I was screaming about when Disney bought Marvel and Disney bought Star Wars. It's like, you do realize they could get in trouble someday and sell part of these things off, or these things off, to something worse. And we're seeing that happen right now. So, and Disney is in big fucking trouble, like big trouble. So, but I think AT&T is actually in worse trouble. But how does it relate to Doctor Who? Well, that big savior, HBO Max, by the way, is not a big savior. That was Amazon didn't want it anymore. Netflix didn't want it anymore. And I was reading through an agreement that they have with China, which is basically the agreement that kept Doctor Who going. It wasn't HBO Max. It was this agreement with China. And they have first right of refusal on episodes and seasons. So that's going to be interesting. So it's we'll just say it's not a sure thing. Doctor Who season 13 is not a sure thing. Not saying it's not happening, but again, just like with Star Trek Picard, it's going to be a couple of years minimum. They got to film it. They got to edit it, post-production. 2 years, maybe? I don't know. But things aren't looking that rosy for Hollywood yet. They're still out there allying themselves and not denouncing violence. And did you see that video? That cringe freaking.
Which one?
The one where they were, I take responsibility. You were on Twitter. It's one of those cut videos where you have celebrities being political and they do their little acting.
God.
They go, I take responsibility. Oh my God, it's freaking awful. Hang on a second. I'll pull it up.
Oh, geez. Just in case you at home missed the pain, let's go ahead and bring it.
I didn't retweet it, but I know.
My God. What are they're saying they denounce what now? Violence?
Well, they didn't denounce violence. They say they take responsibility for, well, you'll have to see it. It's, God dang.
My God. Okay.
There it is. Here we go. Give me a moment here.
He's working the magic, folks.
Be prepared to cringe.
He's working the magic.
Every time it was easier to...
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment. For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Watch their eyes.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how
she's
big or
reading
small.
Reading the
Every
statement.
time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away
Reading.
police brutality. Or turned a blind eye.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters.
Our friends, our family. We are done watching them die. We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow
Watch his
an
eyes.
unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes,
Okay.
stereotypes.
He's
no matter
reading.
how big
I thought he
or
was a
small,
professional
to be
actor.
uttered in
Yeah.
my presence.
I will
They
not
couldn't even
turn
take
a
time
blind eye.
to memorize their lines. They're
No.
just
Going
like
for a jog should not be a
sentence.
death sentence. Sleeping in
She's
your
looking
own
at him
home
too.
should not be a death sentence.
Playing video games with your nephew should not be a death sentence.
What about your
Shopping in a
niece?
store should not be a death sentence. Business as usual should not be life-threatening. I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand
Watch Aaron
against
Paul
hate.
at the end.
I
Watch
will
this.
stand against hate in love. I will make my
Aaron
presence
Paul
known.
brings it at the
And
end.
killer cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers. We can turn the tide. It is time to take
Yep, they have
responsibility.
a statement. They have a script.
Call out hate. Step up and take action.
He's like, I am on the verge of
Bitch.
crying. Right?
Yeah, he's like, step up, bitch.
Bitch. That's better than anything he did in Westworld the entire
is.
season. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that one where he had his hands folded, and that was great. That was great. Where he was like, summoning up his chi. Whatever
he was getting ready. Yeah. So
doing Iron Fist there.
God dang it.
Shit,
They just don't stop, do they?
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously nobody at all endorses,
hate. Nobody just
innocent
endorses
people
hate.
being
Yes.
victimized. I mean, nobody supports that shit. Nobody does.
I am against bad things.
I am against bad things happening to good people.
Yep. Very much so.
I am. So,
I am for good things
I mean,
happening.
But there's basically saying I take responsibility for like every bad thing other people have done, and I don't know.
No. I've done plenty of bad things that I have to take responsibility for. I am not going to take responsibility for somebody else's bad things. Sorry. No, actually, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that is cancel culture right there,
Yep.
too. At play. There are people that want you to go ahead and assume responsibility for other people's actions, and it's ridiculous.
No, they've tried to do that with us. It's, I'll get like,
all the time.
so-and-so YouTuber did something. You need to say something. I'm all, no, I really don't. That so-and-so YouTuber's a grown adult. But thanks for letting me know.
Exactly. Happens to me too.
J Paula 821 for $10. The new Warhammer 40K model reveals from yesterday were as cringy as the damage control on Game Workshop's Facebook page. The new models look like Fortnite garbage. Black price hikes aren't helping. I saw a bunch of Warhammer stuff. Hello Kitty Warhammer stuff. That wasn't it, was it? Somebody. There was there was like
a joke or
no, I saw a picture of it. Now I don't know if it was like photoshopped or something like that, but
probably
I saw it had to be
protest because I mean, my God. But yeah, they have sold out to fans, and it's sad. It's another franchise, gaming franchise, and I'm not really a gaming channel, so I don't generally comment on that kind of thing. But same thing's happening. Longtime fans of Warhammer are having the very tone of their game violated.
I think those are
pink. Oh my God, these poor people. I am so sorry to my Warhammer 40K brothers and sisters out there. They just won't leave anything alone. They want to go ahead and intrude on every single aspect of pop culture.
They know what J.J. Abrams said, by the way. I hate even saying this. It's hard I feel like the Fawn's trying to say I'm sorry right now. Because I don't like that whole term POC. I will never use that again. Like I might have used it reading an article or something like that. I freaking hate it. I hate saying somebody's. I don't even like saying this shit at all. I have trained myself not to say this stuff. Identify people this way. I've taught my kids not to do it, and I refuse to. But like, this is what Bad Robot said: no more white comfort. And
right.
I know what they meant. Okay, but here's the deal: JJ and not Hello Kitty, Warhammer 40K and comic books, you are luxury items. You are not necessary. In a world that is brought down to like Mad Max, there will be no comic books or movies or anything like that. You're not fucking necessary. You are luxury items. You need people to be comfortable to buy them. And I want my kids to be comfortable. And by the way, not all my kids are white. And I want my kids to be comfortable all the fucking time. I don't want them living in fear. I don't want them worried about anything. And maybe giant corporations, when they make statements like that, they need to think about it. I know they don't. I know Jar Jar probably doesn't even know that statement went out. But I'm going to hold him responsible because that's his company anyway. But you need to think about that shit too.
You do. It's just a disgrace. What is going on in the world right now is so disgraceful. The people falling over themselves to out woke the others, to out virtue signal. The virtue signaling is blinding right now. Blinding. They are just like just beaming a year's worth of virtue signals out in a matter of days. I mean, they are just ablaze with virtue signaling. We've got a virtue signaling nova going on. It's going to incinerate our earthly culture. And Twitter's just gone stark raving mad.
Apparently, it's lost a lot of people. A lot of people have
it's
been
lost me largely. I mean, one does not simply abandon over 20,000 followers on Twitter, but I am not following it in any meaningful way. I tweet out a thing here or there that needs to be said. If somebody, makes a piece of tribute art for me, like Fet for Hire, for example, does a whole lot of wonderful Doomcock art. I want to acknowledge that, but I spend like 15 minutes on Twitter anymore a day. And I don't go deep into it. And if I see any kind of craziness or controversy or bullshit, I just read right over it, skip it, don't even let it in.
Good.
I mean, it's just out of control.
Yeah, I'm glad Starry stepped away, by the way. So that's a good thing, and I'm glad you did too. All hail Dave Filoni to be put on trial, and he was Nicholas Horton, and we probably could have been harsher, but I mean, what he said again was in lockstep of everything that Lucasfilm has said. And I don't think anything's going to change. I think you're going to get a decent to mediocre Mandalorian show. Who knows what you're going to get after that? That Obi-Wan show is still years off now because of the beer bug. They've announced, have they announced or unannounced some more movies? It doesn't even matter. I mean, I'm not even going to go see them. I'm not going to see these movies. I'm not going to review them. I don't care. I flat out don't give a fuck.
That's been this whole ordeal has driven a lot of people crazy, and it has clarified, I think, in my mind, a lot of priorities that have to do with life. I mean, I've lost family to this thing. I have, been isolated, and it's just like this. Who has time for this trivial Twitter shit anymore?
Yeah.
This just knee-jerk echo chamber, this crazy ass, two sides just going at each other. It's tiresome. And there's lots of people that I really love on Twitter, but hopefully they're also on our channels, Patreon and Subscribestar, and so I stay in touch with them that way.
Cool. Mexican Iron Man for $9.99.
Hey, I'm the Mexican Iron Man.
What's up, brother? Welcome back to the Bay Area Poopsville, Emperor Gary and Lord Doomcock. Wherever the two of you go, so shall this Mexican follow. Though I'm looking at Austin or Dallas or South Carolina. Well, Mexican Iron Man, look into what Fort Worth, a decision they just recently made. I would stay away from Dallas. I would stay maybe away from Carolina. Austin, outskirts. I heard the suburbs are nice.
Nothing has really happened here. I mean, some protests, but I mean, it's been fairly mild. I'm not aware. I mean, I'm not aware of any rules or I think they're more like guidelines, suggesting masks and stuff. A lot of things are open.
Yeah.
But unfortunately also, we're having a spike right now in stuff. So I don't know what to say, but I definitely would stay away from Dallas or Fort Worth at this point.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know what? I'm not worried about the beer bug anymore. I'm not going to worry about it. I am not going to go somewhere where I can be locked down. We did the lockdown thing, and I mean, we can't stop everything anymore. You just can't. It's not even a choice at this point. And we've already been, our family personally has been affected really adversely over this.
Yes.
It's just no more. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and wait for some politician to make a decision that will.
Oh, hell no.
No.
And I mean, you are not alone. Millions of people have had their lives impacted, if not ruined, by this stuff. And it's just tragic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, heart breaks every day, hearing the stories, talking to people, that send me, oh man, this happened to me. I lost my family. I lost my job. It's heartbreaking, and it grinds you down. It really does.
Eblan 85 for 200 Mexican dollars. Just imagine if all the indie projects we could have funded with all the cash they keep wasting on failures and damage control. Ditching fans. Are they really that stupid? I choose to keep my money and I choose to stay angry. And that is your choice to make, Eblan 85. I absolutely respect it. And yes, spend your money on people who will respect you. And that's it. Respect, basic human respect. That's what the fans were not getting, was basic human respect.
It's as basic as not being called a racist or a sexist or a Yahtzee. I mean, that's a pretty low bar for customer service.
Extremely low.
It's a really low bar. But I would just like to say, Gary, I'm personally extremely sorry for what you and your family have gone through. It has been particularly heartbreaking and difficult for you, I know, and I am just so sorry.
Thanks, brother. Thanks.
But you know that. But I just
Thanks, man.
It's just, it needs to be acknowledged that you are. I mean, you're having a very hard time, and I just appreciate you carrying on, man, and just hope that you will keep hanging in. And
absolutely,
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, there's been some decisions made here in San Francisco that are greatly adversely hurting my wife's business, and it's something she's worked like her entire life for. So, and she did everything right. She did everything fucking right. Didn't even pay, has never paid taxes late, hasn't paid a bill late, has a perfect credit score, has a big clientele. Her salon was smoking fucking busy. She was booked solid for months. And that
is just
fucking San Francisco, man. Everybody else is open.
I absolutely, look, I don't get political, but I do not hold with these things being mandated, closed, or legislated like that. I think that they can issue guidelines. I think that they can, make suggestions, strongly encourage, but to order people under some kind of lockdown with an order, I do not hold with that. I do not hold with that.
No.
Period.
And we can't anymore. And, unless something changes like real quick, which I don't think it is. We've already prepared for the worst. Yeah. And again, we're not going to wait. I mean, I'm not going to wait for her to make a decision. She's not, and more importantly, she's not going to wait. Melissa's done, she's smart. She's done a lot of things to make sure there's still some income coming in, but she's taken it as well as she can. Yeah. She is, but you can't. Yeah, I freaking hate our mayor. I hate her, and I don't hate too many people. And this it just reminds me we do need to pay attention in our local elections, whatever party you're on. You need to read it. I need to read. I got to keep this to I statements. I need to read everything about this person, find out everything about this person, and I can't not care anymore. I can't just not give a shit anymore. I got to care who's like running directly, because this is the first time in my life it's like directly adversely affect, and I'm sure all of you out there are in the same boat. So It's more important now than ever with our local officials. We know what the F is up. We can't just vote in a bunch of losers, whatever party they're on. I don't give a shit. But we're seeing some very adverse effects because we're flat out. There's people in office who shouldn't fucking be there, who just straight up shouldn't be there. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Sorry. We'll get this back to pop culture.
To pop culture. Sorry about that.
No. It's not your fault at all. It's heavily on my mind. Okay. So it's
I know it was, and I just wanted to acknowledge that because, I mean, it should be mentioned, but
cheers.
You're doing a great job, man.
The Last King of Scotland for $5. In Superman 2, how great was Clark when he gave a human permanent brain damage to the truck diner just because he embarrassed him in front of his girl? It was the best, wasn't it?
It was awesome. Well, that was the geek revenge fantasy about the stupid bully that screwed with you in school or whatever. Clark Kent going and just screwing with him, screwing with him.
Yep.
I also like when Zod said, "Now take my hand," and pledge fealty to Zod, and he just crunches it and turns Zod into Hank Hill.
Yep. And then throws him down a crevice that what happens to him?
Vicious pumas in the crevasses.
Last King of Scotland, it was simpler times, man. It was a comic book movie, and we're like, cool. There's no way you can get away with that today.
Captain Marvel did.
Well, unless you're a woman.
Captain Marvel, remember the biker in the cut scenes that drives up to her and she's poring over a map, and he has the unmitigated gall to flirt with her and be a little bit of a toxic male.
The Dawn.
Yeah, a little bit. And she like grabs his like hand and squeezes it, and not only steals his clothes, but steals his bike. This is a superhero. So because he dared to flirt with her, give me a smile, I think he said something like that. How about a little smile there, honey? So what? He deserves to have his clothes and his motorcycle stolen as a result of that. That is the SJW mindset.
Absolutely. And you know what? No, I like that. That is very un-Superman, by the way, Last King of Scotland. I mean, it was part of Superman 2, but it was very un-Superman. But that doesn't take away from how great those frickin' movies were. God damn, they're good. Go on.
I just would like to say that in the same way that the Doctor uncharacteristically became extremely cruel to the family when he locked the girl in the mirror and put the guy in the scarecrow and everything, it was because they had made him human. They had made him forget who he was and experience love and passion, and that is such a fundamental violation of who he is, that he, when he came back, was uncharacteristically emotional. And in the same way, I would defend Clark Kent, because for the first time in his life, he was without his powers, and he experienced on an emotional level getting his ass kicked and being hurt and having to give up Lois and everything else. So, it was like on the cusp of being human, and he indulged himself as a human would, for once.
And that's how you stop a bully, by the way. That's exactly that's how I stopped my bully in elementary school. And I followed my dad's advice. My dad was a good dad and just said, he's making fun of you? Yeah. Hit him. Really? Yeah, hit him. Okay. I'll hit. Are you sure? And it took me a while to get the gumption up to hit him, but I did. And it worked. It worked. I got in trouble. Then my mom got pissed at my dad, but that's how it goes.
Well, a little trouble is good for the soul.
Yep. J. Paula 821 for $5. People upset with Filoni will hopefully understand how pro wrestling fans feel about the WWE. WWE is unwatchable and gets worse with and without the woe. Okay. I mean, I haven't watched WWE ever. I've watched WWF, and I dipped out when it was still WWF. So I'm not sure what your understanding is. Like the overall quality just gone down in wrestling? That's a genuine question. I don't know. Or is it about something else? I'm not really sure. J Paula 821. Just answer in the chat. Just hit @Nerdrotic and I'll read it. You don't have to put another super chat in. Yeah, WWE doesn't sound good to me. I think Vince McMahon should have stood against the WWF. F just sounds, I don't know. It sounds manlier than E.
Yeah, so it's like WWE as opposed to WWF.
F.
Better.
Yep, much better.
F that, right? E that. F that. See? It's better.
Dude, WrestleMania 2 with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus, I believe, or was that it was Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Orndorff. Was that the first one? With freaking Cyndi Lauper and Lou Albano and MTV. It was great. It was great. Yeah. God, I wish I could watch that again. Maybe I will. I have given up on most sci-fi, but I'm listening to audiobooks for the past month, and it's been such a joy after so much disappointment on screen. Declan Lyons for £5. I am an audiophile for that stuff. I love that stuff. I love audiobooks, audio dramas, and there's so many good ones out there that can, you never have to watch anything again. Theater of the mind, Doomcock. Theater of the mind.
Yes, absolutely. Radio, audiobooks, podcasts. Listening to Art Bell, right? I mean, that was theater for the mind. It was some of the best theater for the mind ever.
Absolutely. The first thing I do now, ladies and gentlemen, is I look for a live stream. That's in the morning, I look for a live stream. I'll probably look for one tonight when I'm done. That's my go-to now is whoever I'm subscribed to, and I'm subscribed to hundreds and hundreds of channels. I'm pretty sure I've hit everybody who uses the Fandom Menace hashtag. I hope I have. And yeah, if you're live streaming, I'm probably watching for a little bit. I love them. There's a lot of good live streamers out there. A lot of good up-and-coming channels. Hey, I want to shout one out. I promised I'd shout one out. He's got a couple hundred subscribers. He's got a podcast. He's got a podcast on iHeartRadio, and it's the Type 40 TARDIS podcast. So you can look for it here on YouTube. Like I said, he's got like under 200 subscribers. He's just starting out on YouTube, but he's been podcasting for a long time. Great channel if you're a Doctor Who fan, and go check him out. Go check him out.
Absolutely. Also, before we move on, I had wished Casey Osowski happy birthday coming up Monday. I would also like to on Tuesday wish Bionic Belly Button a happy birthday as well. Her birthday is coming on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
So absolutely just wanted to send a shout out to her, and I hope she has a wonderful birthday. I know she's been very busy with nursing school, but hope she will take a little bit of time just to celebrate another year on this earth. Hail Bionic Belly Button, nee, and happy birthday.
Okay, so the YouTube channel, just to get this right, is The Space Book. That's the name of the YouTube channel. I'm putting the link.
Space Book.
Yeah, I'm putting the link in the description. There you go. Go check it out.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Michael Hulk for $10. Hail, Gary. Great show. R.I.P. Denny O'Neil, a true Batman legend, in my opinion. Batman went downhill with the New 52. I agree with you. I agree with you so much. Who at DC thought that was a good idea? They had a great product pre-New 52. Dan Didio. And I thought he should have been fired afterwards after he lied to retailers about the 52 weekly comic book. I thought he should have been fired. I didn't like him from that point. I was actually very high on the guy prior to that because DC before New 52 was great. Not just good. They were great. And they screwed it up. Yeah. Heel versus babyface. Az, what's up, Az? For 99 cents. Sends a phallic unicorn. What's up, Az? Love Az. Ankaris for Australian $5. Hail, Gary. Hail, Doom. Hail, chat. Beaming in for a bit before getting to work. Well, hey, enjoy. I'm hearing so many people going back to work. I am so happy about that. For those of you who are still looking for it, I hope you find something soon. We will get through this. We're going to get through this, folks. We're not going to, nobody's going to, I see a lot of people asking a lot of questions about, is this it? Is this, listen, our power is still running. Our internet is still on. We're still breathing. I just drove through the, up and down the state. And again, I can still find gratitude. All I saw was people going to work. I didn't see first couple days I saw a protest, but I didn't see anything after that. I just saw people going to work. I sat in traffic in Los Angeles and I couldn't tell you how happy I was. I was like, LA traffic. This is LA traffic. And it just felt so normal, and I'm like, yes. So yeah, we need to kind of notice some of that once in a while. The sky is blue today,
Absolutely. Lots of things to be grateful for.
Yep.
More things than not. More things than not.
And listen, when your kids ask you questions like that, and I'm not going to lie to them, but that's what I told my oldest son today. And he brought up the apocalypse. I'm all, dude, it's not the apocalypse. It's just not. He's like, I know, Dad. I'm like, okay. Don't get too far. Don't get too down. Completely done with Star Wars, save for a warband mod, says John Doe for $2. Yeah, I think it's different for each person, but I will never buy, I did not buy Baby Yoda. I just didn't. I had an opportunity to get one from Sideshow, and I'm like, I'm not giving Star Wars any more money. As a matter of fact,
Nope.
I wanted a Tron figure, like in the worst way. They had this Diamond Direct Tron figure. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And then I saw Disney on it. I'm like, nope. Maybe
No, thank
secondhand,
you.
but yeah, no thank you.
Wallet is closed.
Yep. Not till things change. And that's the only way things will change. I mean, and
Yes.
after I reviewed The Mandalorian, I got rid of Disney Plus. I am not going back to Disney Plus. I'm not going to watch anything on Disney Plus, and because I'm not going to support them. And that's the only way things will change. And hopefully they do change for Star Wars fans in the future. I hope you are happy. I hope you get, and I hope they treat you with respect, but I'm done. There's other things. I got so many other things I can go do besides waste my time on, let's be real honest about Star Wars. Can we, we're all friends here, right? Can we be very honest about Star Wars? It's not that good of a product. It really isn't.
No, not anymore.
It's got I think a lot of people like the idea of Star Wars. Conceptually, it's amazing. They just don't, it's just not very good. And the EU is dead. So you got some comic books, you got some video games, you got some shitty movies. It's mostly bad. So I think they like it as a brand. I think there's a lot of fans out there, just like Disney, people who like Disney and they wear Mickey Mouse stuff, and that's fine. There's no judgment on it, but like, there's no Mickey Mouse cartoons, right? It's just the brand Mickey. I'm a fan of this corporation, or they like going to Disneyland or something like that. That's fine. Whatever. That's what Star Wars is becoming. It's a lifestyle brand more than actually creating a good product. You can sell Boba Fett shirts forever. And maybe
its day has passed, though. You're right.
Oh, totally. It's so passé. I mean, it's not
like Banana Republic. Banana
Right?
Republic used to start out. Yeah, Banana Republic used to start out way back when it started as being like military surplus and odds and ends from around the world. And then they ran out of that shit. And then they just started. I don't know what they are now, but I know that they're still in existence. They sell, like JCPenney clothes, or I don't know. I don't know what they do.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it just had its time.
It's not what it was. It's not anything remotely what it was. I mean, you remember on Seinfeld, the J. Peterman, catalog that Elaine worked on? Well, that was basically a parody of Banana Republic. I mean, you used to come out with these catalogs. You'd have safari hats and traveler jackets with hidden zippers and cool shit like that. Not anymore, man. It's just basically another woman's store like Bell's or JCPenney or what do they call it? The fucking I don't know. It's just any like major clothing store, boutique clothing store.
And what's there even to talk about with Star? I mean, the New Republic, which has been delayed, by the way. The Mandalorian season 2, cool. You're gonna get 8 half-hour episodes of a mute character and it'll probably look a lot like season 2. Baby Yoda will be really, really cute, and they can't do anything to Baby Yoda because I think the best decision that they could make with that show, like narratively, would be to kill Baby Yoda. Absolutely kill Baby Yoda. Like it leads to something else. What are you going to do? Wait, I mean, he ages slowly. So what's going to be the payoff with Baby Yoda?
Well, he's going to do more cute antics. What's wrong with you?
So it's going to be Lone Wolf and Cub.
Has he seen a caterpillar yet?
Yeah. So it's Lone Wolf and Cub.
With blocks yet?
It's Lone Wolf and Cub.
Let's give him a Jack in the Box and see his delightful expression when it pops out. That'd be fun.
So that will last maybe another season, right? Another season.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. It's going to be, it's
just like they're turning us all into parents because it's like, oh, look, Johnny's first experience with water. Oh, look, Susie's first experience on a trampoline. I mean, it'll just be like, hey, let's watch Baby Yoda interact with something new this week. And
Disney's
smart. He's so cute. He's so cute. There's an infinite number of things Baby Yoda hasn't encountered yet. No. So, there's endless possibilities.
There's a bunch of people who haven't had kids, and like that could be their surrogate kid. Disney's not entirely dumb. Okay. I don't think they're dumb at all, but yeah, I just don't think it'll be, I think 2 seasons of cuteness lasts, and it can't grow up, and he's going to survive. So everybody else around Baby Yoda is going to die for what? Are they going to flash forward at the end and show Baby Yoda? Like, where was Baby Yoda during Rise of Skywalker?
In season 8 of The Mandalorian, the ratings are going to be way, way, way down, and people will have gotten tired of watching Baby Yoda see a giraffe or Baby Yoda experience hot sauce. And what they're going to do finally is they'll bring in Cousin Oliver.
Cousin Oliver with glasses, like a Yoda with glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be Cousin Oliver, and that'll be the last legs, like Genie getting married on I Dream of Genie. And then that's the harbinger of the end. So Cousin Oliver lies in The Mandalorian's future. Season 8 or 9, watch for him, folks.
Well, there's going to be a ship. I know, like, this is Disney. This is modern Disney. So next season, there'll be some sort of shipping going on between 2 characters. Who knows what it'll be. But that's coming too. The Reylos need to have their, they got to find something to fill that vacuum.
Aren't the Reylos burned? I mean, aren't the Reylos gone? I mean, remember the squeals of girly delight and then horror as Kylo dies.
Best moment on the internet, 2019.
That was hilarious. They were going, "Fuck you, Disney!" Fuck you.
I was laughing so hard.
All those little girls like squealing and sobbing. They killed Davy Jones. The Monkees will never be the fucking same. It's sad.
It's true though. With the Monkees,
Here
by the way.
come.
Walking down your street. Get the funniest looks from NG. I love the Monkees. NG1.
The Monkees were great. The Prefab Four, which is one of the greatest nicknames of a band ever. The Prefab Four.
The Prefab Four.
Too hilarious. Too hilarious. Spot on. But I mean, they did great. Well, they got great songwriters.
Yeah.
They had some of the best songwriters in showbiz doing stuff for them. Neil Sedaka. I think Neil Diamond did some stuff for them. I mean,
they got all the Neils.
Yeah.
Neil Sedaka.
Well, not Neil Young.
Oh my God. I haven't heard that name in years. My mom loved Neil Sedaka.
It could have been me, but it was you. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Neil Sedaka.
J Paula 821 for $5. Once I boycott, I don't return. Ask me about my 8-year Capcom boycott and 6-year Blizzard boycott that led me to making boycott Blizzard page. Oh, I like the cut of your jib there, J Paula 821 for $5. NG1T for $5 says keep it up. Yeah. No, I'm not going to look back on Star Wars. It was really fun for a long period of time, and it hasn't always been the best thing ever. Okay, Star Wars hasn't been relevant for 40 years straight. It goes through peaks and valleys, and it just went through it. It went through its very, very last peak. That we reached peak Star Wars, and it'll stay around and meander around. What Doomcock said, it'll wallow in obscurity eventually.
Cousin Oliver lies in its future.
Yep. Disney does not know what to do with it. I mean, we've just seen what they've been doing with it since 2012. Would you say that was good? Would you say that's was that an upward trajectory? Marvel's still at an upward trajectory, until they fail. That's where they are at. And
I think it's dead, man. I think it's honestly, genuinely close to dead. I mean, it's going to decline for sure. Endgame is going to be the absolute peak.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it felt like a really final movie. And I think the public is subconsciously or consciously or what I think there may be other Marvel movies. I think a lot of people are done with it.
Absolutely. They're not, you can call Sam Wilson Captain America, although he's the Falcon, for Christ's sake. And it was
He is the Falcon.
Well done in the movies. And you're going to call him Cap, and he's not Cap. He's
Nope.
not.
Nope.
And
what about Bucky? What about Bucky?
They're going to realize that Robert Downey Jr. was very important to that franchise. Very, very important to that franchise. And yeah, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. just don't get replaced by Brie Larson. They just don't, sorry,
No.
not in any real world.
No.
Doomcock, I asked Gary this already. What do you prefer to do at night? Oh, this sounds very personal. What do you prefer to do at night? Frack or Frel? So what's your preference? Frack or Frel?
Frack.
He
Gotta
says
be frack.
frack.
Be frack.
I was such a middle of the road guy. I'm like, it could be frack or Frel. It depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
But no, frack first, because Battlestar Galactica first over
Frack
Farscape.
first. Damn right.
But Farscape.
So say we all.
So say we all.
Admiral Adama, my admiral.
God damn it. Somebody reminded me today that Sam Esmail is making a remake of something like a prequel to the Ronald D. Moore one. Why?
No, I don't know that it's a I don't know that it's a prequel.
I
think
don't
it's
either.
A continuation.
I think it is
look,
too.
Here's the thing. Or it happens in the same universe, or it's parallel or something. But you can't. How can you do that? How can you have that series where he says it won't contradict or have anything to do with the current canon? It was literally a story about the last humans alive.
Yeah.
So how are you going to have another series that doesn't tie into that? I'm completely flummoxed. I don't know what to think. I will just wait. I will wait. I will look. And we'll see what it is. But for the life of me, I can't imagine what the hell it is.
I thought, because I was trying to wrap my brain, why would they do this? This is like the dumbest, most constraining decision they can think of. And then it clicked. They must not have the rights to all of Battlestar Galactica. They must only have the rights to Ronald D. Moore's version of Battlestar Galactica. And there must be something going on with the Glenn Larson original that they can't touch. And they can only adapt Ronald D. Moore version, which is just, you're fucked. You're completely screwed. They ended that story. So, good luck.
Yes.
Unless there's some unknown lost shuttle that went somewhere and you're following them. Yay. Okay.
What are they going to do? Play cards? Well, I mean, play chess? What is there to do?
It'll be a shuttle
the Cylons are busy chasing, the Galactica there. I mean, what? They're also going to be chasing this little shuttlecraft with.
It'll
want their playing cards.
It's going to be a shuttle filled with 5 scientific black women who are amazing and stunning.
They are.
Yeah.
They single-handedly overthrow the Cylons.
They do.
Shortly after the ending, when it just when it wouldn't help anymore, they overthrow all the Cylons.
The track record for, oh my God, Feminut's SJJ NPC speeches like Filoni gave. The next movie series is Woke SJJ NPC Trash RIP Mandalorian Season 2, says Drake is 6 for $5. Yeah, I think Mandalorian Season 1 was a lure. I think it was a straight up lure. And I think you're going to see... You could see them going in that direction. It didn't happen per se. So we'll see. I don't know. I know they filmed a bunch of it. I hope it's good for y'all. I don't want it to be bad, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just turned around and went full woke on us. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
We'll see.
Yeah, and for again, like that's the question you got to ask about everything that was produced prior to 3 months ago. And listen, there was a lot of good work done to see, and I think things were turning around, and I think all of that has been completely undone. I hope I'm wrong, but Disney's didn't anger, lose, piss off half the fandom, more like minimum 2/3, 3/4, just like CBS with Trek. Imagine McDonald's did this with its sales. Mexican Iron Man, I will not argue with you. I will not argue with you for $4.99. I do believe it was more than half. I think at the beginning, you can argue it was half. By the time things finished up, it was 3/4. A lot of people silently just see. The thing is, the normies make the world go around. That's what makes something a giant worldwide phenomenon, a franchise. Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars. Star Wars was the best at luring in the normies. It's a normie franchise, okay? And Doctor Who and Star Trek are still pretty niche, but they both got their share of normies. Doctor Who did a great job of it, 8 years ago, and they lost them. So you're just left with your hardcore fans who you then pissed off 2/3 of. You're dead. You're dead. You don't get a second chance with this shit. That's the thing, is they think they'll have a second chance. Well, like I brought up in videos before, go ask Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, or Zorro how their second chances are doing. And they used to be very popular, extremely popular properties, and not anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't help when guys like that I've been defending talk about, this is like they go in threes, Gary. We've talked about this. We've had Ronald D. Moore, saying, spuriously complimentary pseudo things about Picard. He didn't really, I don't think.
No.
We have Filoni coming out with this video. And then strike three, we have Russell T. Davies selling us out with this short animated thing, basically saying, the doctor was animals, the doctor was this, the doctor was that, doctor's been a hamster, doctor's been a mealworm. It's just, fuck you. Holy shit. Way to go and just totally shit on your legacy and just go ahead and chime in on a conversation that you could have just left alone and still retained your legacy. I have been defending Doctor Who and Russell T. Davies' run on Doctor Who as my favorite run, period. And then he comes out with this spurious, absolutely unnecessary vandalism and bullshit. For what reason, I have no idea. But I will not fucking forgive that. What the fuck? Why do you have to chime in when you see what's going on? Why? Why would he do that?
He's a rascally little devil, that one. I'm not convinced that wasn't a troll. I have to think about it. Well, I thought about it, and I think it was, as put it, it takes the piss out of everything. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, why not single cell organisms and inanimate objects? Fuck it. Let's just have them. And that's the whole point of my video is, who cares? Get rid of the fucking police box. Good. If you get rid of the police box out of Doctor Who right now, that's the only recognizable thing in this show. And then it stops being Doctor Who. So I don't give two shits. Russell T. Davies, when I first heard that, I was fucking pissed. And I did a live stream. And then a bunch of people went, wait a minute. Look at what he said in the before. Because he wasn't happy with what they've done. So I can't call
this was a form of
trolling.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So there's a doubt.
There's a doubt. But I can't prove it.
I hope so.
I hope so.
He is my favorite modern era Doctor Who creator, and it really bothered me.
And he's done really with Doctor Who, and there's a lot of reasons he's done with, and it bothered me too. I'm right there with you.
Because it just seemed like it could be echoing and ratifying what these idiots like Chinballs and are doing to the franchise. But maybe. I guess I'd have to watch the thing. I did not watch the thing because all it's going to do is make me angry. And it's like, I don't want to know.
If you would have left that out, if you would have left that line out, just that line, it was probably one of the best ones they've done, because it was
Well, I'm sure.
David Tennant's doctor and Nova's Haim at the end of her life. And it's just her just talking about the end of her life. So if they left that out, it was fine. It had Murray Gold music in it. It was, and when you hear that theme, it's like, oh, and it reminds you and that's all this rewatch has done. It's just reminded everyone how shitty things have become. And it's a completely fucking broken show. And this is the first thing I said. I was with, I think I said it on the Inquisition here. I said, this is the moment, Doctor Who fans. And I'm not asking people to pick a side. I'm just like, they really have destroyed Doctor Who now. So we're going to find out what you're about, period. Mm-hmm. And if you're okay with this stuff, that's what you're about. And for those of us who are not okay with it, this is your line in the sand right now, between being a shill and being a fan of quality content. Now, if you're just a casual Doctor Who fan who doesn't give a shit and just likes the word Doctor Who, fine. I got no beef with you, but we're not like really discussing Doctor Who anytime soon. And there's no way you're okay with the Doctor no longer being a Time Lord. William Hartnell is no longer, and I'm saying this is from their point of view. I do not prescribe to any of this shit, by the way. Right. The Doctor is no longer a Time Lord. William Hartnell is no longer the first Doctor. There are no longer any numbered Doctors. And believe me, they're not done there. They're not fucking done. That's the most frustrating thing. And they did this. Why did they do this? Did they do this as a decision to tell a good story, a narrative decision? Or was this decision made to have a blow at the patriarchy because we are embarrassed by all of our previous Doctor Who? Because it's a practice in the male gaze and so on and so forth. That's what they made the decision to bend the knee to political correctness. They ruined an entire show in a fucking voiceover montage to bend the knee to political correctness. Fuck that shit. And didn't give a shit what the fans think. And when we knew this was going to come and we were complaining about it and we saw it a couple of years out, we were called the worst names possible by other quote unquote fans and demonized. And now we're in these like really divisive times where, I don't know, I'll give you a scenario. Say I'm walking the street with my kid and somebody read somewhere or somebody, that I associate or I was called an istrophobe on the internet and they just see that. What do I have to have my head on a swivel all the time now because I was falsely accused of something because I didn't like a fucking TV show? Like, that's what we've been talking about. It's like, dial this shit down. And we're just a response to it, by the way. I'm not attacking fucking other YouTube channels that like this shit. I'm not calling them anything. I don't ever bring them up, and neither do you. Nope. And I am, every time I go after an Access Media article, it's because they've gone after the fans, calling him toxic, calling him calling him phobe. And look where the fuck we are now. So that's why I was against this shit, because it was playing in the divisiveness, and that Doctor Who's decision was playing in the divisiveness. The Doctor Who is supposed to be above this shit. It's supposed to be above the shit. There's a great, great speech by Peter Capaldi I played on last Friday night. And by the way, I tried to put it at the end of my video and they copyright claimed me, so I had to take it off. And it's he's there talking to a Zygon Clara, and he's talking about war, and he's talking about the consequences of war. Go find it. It's on the top 5 Doctor speeches here on YouTube when we're done. It's number 2. It should be number 1. It's Capaldi. It's fucking great. And it's very applicable to these times. Maybe at the end of the show, we'll play it. When they can't hit us with anything. God damn, I'm fucking still mad about Doctor Who. That's what I'm mad about, man. So,
oh, 100%, man. I was disgusted, and I'm sorry I brought it up, but
Don't be.
I mean, holy shit, three strikes. I mean, it's weird how these things go in threes. Being disillusioned by someone that I've respected 3 times with Ron Moore and Dave Filoni, and then Russell T Davies. Holy shit!
I didn't think about that. Damn, that's a bad week.
It's a very bad week. It's been very upsetting.
But these guys are, listen, they still get paid. At least, Russell T Davies and Ronald D Moore still get paid. So they are probably contractually obligated not to go out and shit on something.
Yeah, but there's a difference between not shitting on something and enabling it and ratifying it and cooperating with it.
No,
right?
and that was my call out at the end of that live stream. That was my call out was to the Doctor Who professionals, people like Peter Davison, people like fucking Tom Baker and David Tennant. It's like, you're going to have to make a decision right now. And this sucks for them. And I can't imagine they're happy about this at all. I cannot, because this is their legacy. This is how a lot of them make a living off of signing autographs and going to conventions now. And now there's going to be less people at the conventions. Their product isn't valuable anymore. All the value of Doctor Who is based on 2005 to 2013. Nothing after that. Nobody wants to stream that. All your value is the Tennant RTD era and some of the Moffat era. That's why China pays a lot of money to stream or HBO Max was, well, the highest bidder to when they already went through 2 previous streaming services that are right now that are bigger. HBO Max does not have the 140 million subscribers that HBO has. By the way, let's keep this in mind. You have to transfer your product. It's pretty easy, but you have to physically do it. It doesn't do it automatically. So I think a lot of people are going to forget. So right now, Amazon Prime has 110 million subscribers. Netflix has 150 or 182 million subscribers. They're close to 200 million subscribers. By the way, CBS All Access has like 6 million right now, 6 million, and Disney says they have 50. I don't know if that counts the Verizon or not. Nowhere fucking close to Netflix and Amazon, which are the big daddies. And Doctor Who is going to wallow in obscurity now, and it will not be fixed. And it sucks because there's a lot of fans who really like this show. And you know what? It's times like these where we get to go and enjoy our escapism, and they have taken that away because they don't want us to be comfortable. That's it, because they're not entertainers anymore, Doomcock. They're influencers.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Oh, that's been nicely said. That's a nice distinction. Yeah. That's what they fancy themselves as anyway.
We're really important. We have a lot of young eyes watching us, so we need to teach them lessons right away so they know how to vote when they get younger, and we get women in STEM.
Women in STEM. Yes.
Women in STEM.
Yes, that's the most important thing. It's not the most important thing to just have good science. We got to have good science from the right people.
I mean, was the science that, I mean, the science was, I don't know. Star Trek, the original series, was just fucking entertaining. Okay. And it created a lot of scientists and doctors and stuff because it was entertaining.
Because it inspired dreams. And there was an underlying level of intelligence to Star Trek, the original series. I mean, they had a company that was dedicated to fact checking. I mean, they had a company, I think it was called DeForest Researchers. I have no relation to DeForest Kelley. I can't remember the name, but they would check every script for scientific accuracy. They would pose questions. They would give criticism. This was a show that cared. Would they have ever had sonar in space? No. That would have been caught and rejected by the intelligent writers on the staff. They wouldn't have even had to get it to the research company that was checking for scientific validity. Hell, the network, Stan Robinson at the network, who was the one of the first African-American network executives, by the way. And Stan Robertson contributed immensely to Star Trek's success. Immensely. I've read his memos. I've read his comments. His intelligence and his instincts were spot on about largely. Now, sometimes he had to echo the network's lust for planet stories, even though planet stories were expensive and planet stories were not necessarily the best stories, but we were promised strange new worlds. Where's our strange new worlds? That was the only thing annoying about him. But otherwise, his insights were, and his sense of drama, his sense of plausibility, intelligence was flawless. We don't have anything like that on Star Trek Discovery or Star Trek Picard. There's no quality control whatsoever.
Somebody pointed out in a live stream I did last week, about the military background of a lot of the people involved in the show. And back then, just back in the 60s period, like pretty much everybody writing in Hollywood had been to World War II or had done, and had some, they understood how, the military worked, how ships worked, and they applied that to their trade, that real world experience. And we've talked about this, like that is just completely missing now. You've got these little bebops coming right out of freaking film school, not even fucking school, like film school, like San Francisco Art Institute and shit like that. And like no real world experience. And then they're trying, then because they have the right skin color, they get a job at Star Trek and Doctor Who, which they've maybe seen on a comic book cover when they're at their boyfriend's house or something like that. And goddamn, it shows. It shows. And listen, if you're new, just do your research. That's all. Do your homework. But that's not necessary because you have YouTube clips. And that's my whole theory on Kurtzman, by the way. I think he watches YouTube clips. I don't think he watches the full movie. I think all of Picard came from watching the YouTube clip, the end of Star Trek Nemesis.
Well, I have to say
yes
that I have a breaking news here.
What's that?
The breaking news that I want to break on the Inquisition
is
that we have to cancel Star Trek and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes.
We have to cancel Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
And Voyager and Enterprise and everything because you know why?
Why?
Breaking news, news flash. Gene Roddenberry was a policeman.
Oh, cancel it right now. I
He
don't
was
ever
a
want to watch it again.
policeman.
Hashtag Star Trek is over party.
Hashtag cancel Star Trek. Roddenberry was a hashtag Roddenberry was a cop.
That's right.
Which is absolutely true. Gene Roddenberry was a Los Angeles patrolman. Before that, he was a World War II pilot.
Yes.
Who flew missions, combat missions in World War II. So Gene Roddenberry was not just a writer, he was a man. So we have to cancel him immediately. Hashtag cancel Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry was a man. Gene Roddenberry was a World War II pilot. Gene Roddenberry was a cop.
That's right. And yes, you can cancel dead people. They tried to do it with John Pertwee. So
yes, they have. Isn't that in the spirit of the times? Now that the secret is out, that Gene Roddenberry was a cop, I'm sure they will all want to cancel every iteration of Star Trek that came from his filthy, tainted typewriter. Tainted typewriter. Oh, tainted typewriter.
It's so tainted.
Isn't that isn't that basically
cancel
culture, right?
All you wonderful people out there, if you see somebody from Star Trek Discovery denouncing the police, just fucking shoot that right back. Now, I don't follow any of those morons, but I'm sure Wilson Cruz is probably talking about it. So just remind him that Gene Roddenberry was a cop in the 60s or 50s.
In the 60s, yeah.
In the 60s, yeah. Malakot 63 for $5. Doomcock, apologies if this has been answered already, but are you a fan of Japanese whiskey at all? Are you?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I think the best whiskey I've ever had in my life was Yamazaki. Yamazaki 12-year, Yamazaki 18-year. Holy shit. And I want to thank John Tennett, my Legionnaire battalion. He sent me Yamazaki and both 12-year and 18-year. I would have never heard of it before. I drink that and I'm just like flying. I mean, it is the flavor explosion, the nuance, the subtlety. The only other thing I've had that even came close to Yamazaki was Pappy Van Winkle, which you just can't get. I mean, it just happened to be that I came across a bar that had it for like $45 a pour. And so I got me like
what
a pour, yeah, $45 a pour,
$45.
Yeah. Well, a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle goes for like $1,800.
Dang,
that's the middle grade Pappy Van Winkle.
Coke
it's a
for
bourbon.
That much. I mean, probably pretty good though.
I wanted to try it, and I loved it so much. I think I got me like 3 pours. They got a little more generous on the subsequent pours. They saw this guy.
That's cool.
Hey, this guy's, all right. He's forking over. He's not a tourist. He's a professional. So
I don't feel bad about ordering a $35 hamburger then. I'm good with that now because you had $45 a pour.
It was a special.
Of course. Oh no, I bet you it was rad.
Treat.
Listen,
I mean, it's like because
I've paid more than that
you
for
no,
drugs.
listen, I don't do that kind of shit. I think people that spend that kind of money, but it's Pappy Van Winkle, and I'd heard about it for.
So it's like legendary.
Legendary. Oh
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is that it's from what I understand, if you can get a bottle of it new, it's only like about $130, but everybody buys it up, and then to get a bottle, honestly, it's a very, very limited run. That's the problem.
There you go.
But my God, I was just like to sneer at it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink this and I'm going to say it's no better than Elijah Craig. This is bullshit. In fact, I kind of looked at them suspiciously. I wonder if they're just going to slip me some well shit or something like that, And then I took a sip and my eyes just, I mean, I'm telling you, it's the real thing, people. It's
there
the
you
real
go.
thing. Pappy Van Winkle is outstanding. All right. Sorry. You got
No,
me.
it's okay.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Passion, man. Admin Grumpy Bear for $20. I lost some respect for Dave Filoni when I saw that. I'm a biker from Tennessee. Glad no one had a camera for a bunch of stuff I've done. Talk about Kodak moments. Yeah, I mean, we're not perfect at all, but that just exposed to me that they're all, Jeremy's right. Okay. He's not wrong about Hollywood for the most part they're wacky. They're wacky people. They don't have a perspective like you and I. They even the people who did have normal jobs and stuff, when you get there, you lose perspective. It's a different lifestyle. They're not very grateful. They're a bunch of whiny people. And you know what? They have to work out their own lives. Some of them are very happy out there and they're well-adjusted people. And those are the ones we don't hear from. And then there's the ones who probably in the back of their mind realize they're getting paid millions of dollars to play pretend. So that's why they're the first ones out there when shit starts going down, because what they're all saying, what that whole fucking video was please don't come burn down my house. Please don't. I'm one of you. I'm one of the people. How much money can I give you? Please don't come burn down my house. That's all that was. None of that was genuine. It'll never be fucking genuine. Nothing they do is genuine.
Well, that's the problem. It's kind of like if you had a video of Hank Hill basically standing up at a public speaking of the Kiwanis Club or something like that and saying, well, now, of course, I don't really use that propane stuff myself because, I prefer the kind of burn that charcoal puts on a steak. Of course, I say that for the rubes because, Mr. Strickland would fire me if I was caught spilling the beans talking out of school. But since I'm here with my lodge brothers, I go ahead and tell you the truth. It's like, well, that's a problem. That's a problem. Are we supposed to just ignore that? So either Hank was being a phony in front of his lodge brothers and lying, which speaks to his character, or he's being a phony about how propane is. It's just there's no good explanation.
No, there really isn't. And, and the way it was broken down, and again, we can all have different opinions on this, but I do think basic human respect falls into play when it comes to talking about the fandom, or just simply don't talk about the fandom at all. But when you're sending up a false straw man trying to make a portion of your fucking fandom that made you rich in your little pretend job, even using them for not thinking
for 5 minutes is
for
a
5
prop.
minutes, it's fuck as a prop is bullshit, just to pander to somebody. Fans who have spent thousands of dollars over thousands of hours of time of their life passionately loving Star Wars, and this dude who is anointed by George disrespects him for 5 minutes publicly. Yeah, that's a fucking problem. It's a big fucking problem, because you are in the business. It's all about image, right? It's all about perception and image. Well, you just tarnished yours. You just tarnished it with a bunch of fans. And that's why don't even risk saying this shit. There was a way to say what he said without propping up that straw man. And I presented it on Friday night. All he had to do was, hey, we've never had a woman in Star Wars before. And maybe we were worried about this decision, but guess what? We were pleasantly surprised. we were pleasantly surprised, and some of our data was wrong, and maybe we had it wrong. And guess what? Star Wars fans are awesome. That's all you have to fucking say. Pretty fucking easy. That instead you straw man it up and
yeah,
listen,
you had to slander the fans,
and he's a writer,
your audience,
so he can't use an excuse.
Right. You were at a women's technology gathering. And so what you could have done has been very positive. You know, we at Lucasfilm are committed to diverse hiring practices. We value your voice moving forward in our effects department. If you have a story to tell, we would encourage women to apply. Because we are very, very committed to a diverse workplace, and that you don't have to say anything about it. And those assholes that were mocking Rey, and Luke just held the door for Leia and she strolled out. I mean, shit like that was going above and beyond where you could have been positive. And if you showed me a video of Dave Filoni at a women's conference trying to recruit women, I would say, good for you, man. Good for you. What the fuck's wrong with that? Nothing. But you had to weigh in. You had to mock, and you kind of roll your eyes and smirk and hold for laughs because you thought you were going to get laughs and approval. What did you think you were going to get laid? Fuck you, man. I'm sorry.
No, and you go up to a bunch of group of women and you automatically think, let's bash some men. That's the first thing you want to hear.
That's what he thinks.
That's a fucking stereotype right there. I mean,
yes,
but that's how Hollywood sees the world. And Dave's not any different, okay? Dave is he's a cartoon writer. He's a fucking cartoon writer. He's an up-jumped cartoon writer. He's pretty fucking good at what he does, okay, as a cartoon writer. But we haven't seen him write some real, fleshed-out, sophisticated adult live action, have we? He was part of the thought process for Rise of Skywalker, according to the art of Rise of Skywalker, but I don't know that for a fact. Somebody said it in the chat. But other than that,
wait. There was a thought process. What?
No. I mean, I can't call it the process. We'll just call it the process of making that piece of shit. Other than that, he's made
or how parts are processed. Okay.
A very good cartoon that I think gets a little more love than it deserves because it's been compared to a lot of bad Star Wars. Now, a lot of people like the prequels, and good for you if you like the prequels. If you were like 9 or 8 when you saw them, which is pretty much who they were made for, right? And it clicked with you, awesome. Again, I will repeat, I was an adult when I saw them, and I did not like them, and I still don't like them. I appreciate them more now after I've watched Disney Star Wars, and the music was great, but I didn't like them. So you had that, and the Clone Wars is better than that, but like most of Star Wars is not a good product now. It's watered down, and the good stuff they had, they got rid of, which was, for me personally, the Dark Horse comics were the best thing that Star Wars produced for a long, long time. And none of them count. I mean, they still count with me, and I still own them. But those are the last things I do own, are the old Marvel comics and the old Dark Horse comics. And I guess some of the EU books are really good too. I've read a few, and they're good. But that's gone. And that's years. That's decades ago. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, it's the same with Star Trek too. It's been a long time since Star Trek's been good. Each person can make your own individual decision. Dave Filoni, I mean, is he a great betrayer? No, he's just another douchey Hollywood dude. That's all he is, Cheers to my favorite 2 defenders of pop culture. Thank you, Cavi, for $2. I appreciate that. We try to defend you, the pop culture, and you, because I am a fan. I am simply a fan. I like this shit as much as you do, and people have told me all my life I care too much about this shit, and they might be right, but I still care. Doesn't change how much I care. And I think fandom it's never been this like paradise, okay? It never. But it's been a lot more fun in the past than it is now. A lot of the fun of fandom has been sucked out because you can't joke about anything. You can't do much. Humor, if they come after our humor, they're straight up coming after our philosophers. And however you feel about the events of the last 2 weeks, the political correct crowd has now glommed onto this, and they have decided a lot of people have been popping up who have been gone for a little while, and they have started to start this whole fucking thing back up again when I thought it was winding down. So here we go again. And I
mount a little comeback.
Yep. And I wouldn't blame anybody if they just said, I'm out. I'm out. I'm tired of this. I'm out. I wouldn't blame you at all. I'm not there yet, personally. I am fine. As a matter of fact, I feel more fired up than ever, but it's still disappointing. NG1T for $4. He says, gives us a cup of, I'm going to say coffee. It's red though. It might be blood. That's cool.
I think it's bourbon.
It's bourbon.
I think it's for me.
It's bourbon for Doomcock, and it's Kool-Aid for me.
There you go.
It's Kool-Aid or fruit punch. KK, the number one example of why not to diversity hire, says 13th Warrior for $2. Absolutely. That we're seeing example after example. We're seeing some real life examples. 13th Warrior. I was just talking to my son about that, and I just spoke earlier about it. We need to pay attention who we vote into office, and they have to actually be qualified. They actually have to be qualified, especially with the real life shit. No 2 took a no 2 inside Captain Picard's brain. Or number 2, it says no 2, but number 2 took a number 2 inside of Picard's brain. Alt fit for £2. You're absolutely correct. That whole show was a giant number 2.
It was.
My bald patch stands out like a sore thumb on CCTV cameras, much like woke material stands out as gradually receding in quality. It does. Listen, when we can not only see it happening in the story, we can tell you why the creator put it there. That's how much they don't give a shit. It was obvious they wanted to fuck up Luke Skywalker. That was Kathleen Kennedy's mission. He needed to hold the door for Leia. What was he doing? Stepping stone, Leia, whatever. Yeah, that's clearly what happened.
Oh, sure. He didn't blow up the Death Star or anything. He just held the door for her.
Yeah.
And she did it.
His lightsaber was a doorstop. Yeah. Nothing. The account nothing for $5 New Zealand dollars down in Middle Earth. What's up? Chicago no-go zone did funny. Electing disabled children for something. Mr. Obvious video. This is news. LOL. I'll check it out. As far as that is, I might have to make a video on Nerdrotic Live. It's a very serious subject there's something that California has just completely abandoned. Schools, we don't know if schools are going to open this year, and I've got kids.
Right.
I got a young one. I got a young one who's 14. And he is, he's got, I wouldn't call it special needs, but, he has Asperger's. So he needs, some specialty stuff at school that we try very hard to keep him in these programs and stuff. And we got him into a private school that was like the best school for this. All that shit's gone. California is not even fucking thinking about it right now. I mean, I can't even imagine if for the special needs parents, you have been completely forgotten during this whole thing.
Yeah.
Big Daddy MRI for $10 says, thank you. No, thank you, Big Daddy. Thank you. And that's why, people are bailing. They have to. Alt Fit for £5. It's 2 a.m. in the UK, but I'm sticking around to find out if your beard is stick-on or real. Oh, it's real. See, there you go. It's real. Wait, I got to comb it now. Hang on.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Look at that. Oh, look at that. JD. He's a JD. He's got a switchblade.
That's right.
Beard comb.
That's right. No, actually, I glued it on. Outfit. I glued it on.
Good glue.
Good glue. And I picked the wrong year to quit sniffing glue.
That's
Felipe
right.
Abrigo for 50 Chilean pesos. What's up, Felipe? Hail, future warlords. Last night, I watched What We Left Behind. Oh, yes. DS9 looks glorious in widescreen. Wish they spent money restoring it instead of STD and STP. Hashtag only Nimoy is Spock. Yes, absolutely.
Damn right. Hashtag only Shatner is Kirk.
I rewatched Star Trek 2, and I know you watch it probably regularly. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, and that movie still got me, dude. It gets me every time.
Great movie. Great movie. And it's a movie that will grow with you because, you know, as you get older, you will identify more and more with the poignance of Admiral Kirk's aging dilemma, how he feels. I mean, we'd see it differently as a child than we see it as a teenager, as an adult, as an older person. As you get older, it will keep growing with you. I've found that it changes over time, but what never changes about it is its heart or its quality. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Period. And I think it's the best example on why you do not show Spock having emotions, okay? Because when he does have a little facial expression or a moment where he does show his human side, it has so much more impact. I don't know, maybe more impact than singing in a fucking elevator. But when
like a moron,
yeah, when Peter Preston gets brought in on the bridge, you know, and you just see Spock close his eyes and look down, and like that's special. That's impact. And it was just a quiet little scene, and it gave me goosebumps. That little fucking scene, and it didn't before. And you're right, it's something I looked at differently. You know, it's goddamn, it's a fucking good movie.
It's a great movie.
It's on Hulu right now. It's on Hulu. So you don't have to see it on CBS All Ass.
Well, you should have it as in your collection.
I do. I have it
Just
part of my
straight up.
Blu-ray. Yes, you're right.
6-pack. You've got the
Yes,
6-pack.
yes,
That's what I've got. Yeah.
With the white cover on it. Yep.
That's what I've got.
But yeah, more important now than ever, get your physical media. You can get it discount. Doomcock covered the whole Gone with the Wind thing while I was gone. I couldn't fucking believe that.
I was outraged. Another video that got sandboxed by YouTube.
And listen, I am personally not against a disclaimer on that one. I know some people.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But
don't pull it. Don't pull it.
No, don't pull art. Don't pull art. I'm against it completely. We need to remember, but Talons of Wang Chang are that's gonna get pulled any day now. And of course they pulled a Faulty Towers episode, and I guess a
Faulty Towers episode.
Yep.
One of the best comedies ever. I mean, that is John Cleese at the height of his powers. And it's absolutely absurd. I've seen that series, 50 times. Never been offended. For God's sakes. What's offensive to these people is that is comedy. Comedy itself is offensive. Levity builds bridges, and they just want to tear bridges down.
They don't understand it because it brings people together. Anything that unites us, they're against. You're noticing that they're really, really, really pressing down on the divisiveness, and we cannot feed into it. I mean, we got to fight this shit. We got to call them out on their bullshit, and we've got a lot to fight for right now, and this is the time. I talked about it before. Razorfist did a video 4 or 5 days ago about cancel culture. Go see it. Watch the last 3 minutes of it. I mean, watch the whole thing, but watch the last 3 minutes. He's fucking spot on. We need to stand up to this shit, and it's up to these little, and it's these little puss bags in Hollywood. One of you all has got to stand up to this, because that's all it'll take. Yeah, and somebody might damage their career for a little while. So fucking what? If you bend the knee, you're damaged. I have no respect for you, and a bunch of people don't. Everybody sees that shit. You know what? If you stood up, you would be a bigger star with a lot of people. It's just, and it's not even about being a fucking star. It's about stopping this shit, by the way, because it's happening to people who don't deserve it. Nobody deserves this shit. I mean, listen, some of those tweets I wouldn't have made. Do they deserve to lose their fucking life over it? No, of course not. And the kind of person that wakes up in the morning needing to do that to somebody, and John Trent, thankfully, exposed one of them going after John Krasinski or something like that. And it was a writer for some YouTube show called Good Mythical Morning. Don't forget this woman. She woke up just wanting to cancel the guy because he plays a CIA guy on TV, on fucking streaming. That's it. She just felt like it. And she writes for a big YouTube channel that gets, I personally don't like it. I'd never heard of it until I saw it. And it's one of those quirky, like PBS kind of shows. Yeah, she woke up one morning and said, I want to cancel John Krasinski. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right. And she just fucking felt like it, because she just fucking felt like it. Yeah, that shit's got to stop.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's no way to advance yourself in Hollywood or YouTube.
Yep. Whoa. Hale, how do you feel about Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd losing their guns? It's fucking bullshit. Toddzilla for $10.
I hate it.
I canceled my HBO Max subscription. Straight up fucking canceled it. It was the Gone with the Wind. It was the Looney Tunes. It was the 3 DC movies leaving at the end of the fucking month. I'm like, are you serious? You just sold this thing on the Snyder Cut and you're like getting rid of 3 movies. And I guess they have some agreements. And then I remembered they supported Doctor Who and Game of Thrones season 8. I'm like, why do I have this? If I need to dip in to review something, I'll dip in, but I'm not going to just have it when I don't need to.
And don't forget Wokeman and don't forget Westworld. So we've just been taking it up the shorts from them all year.
God, was it who was it? Bonnie and Billy Button? Was it you or Agent? No, was it Agent Pepsi 1 earlier who said that Westworld got renewed for season 5? Fucking.
I don't believe.
If it is, it's going to be 2 shortened seasons. It'll be like Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Fred W. Monzo for $3.99. I, for one, welcome our new alien overlord. Doomcox from Earth. Doomcox from Earth.
Yes, I was transported by aliens into the future, 1977. But no, I am not an alien myself. But thank you for that.
Thank you. Sindek for $2. Yeah, I couldn't get to you today. I'll call you. I'll try to call you tomorrow. I saw you quit Twitter. I don't blame you. So I got, keep your messaging up though, so I can give you a call tomorrow. Hey brother, I quit Twitter, but sent you a message and I did get the message, Sindek. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for $2. Malakot 63 for $10. I was watching Mission Impossible Fallout and heard someone say, hope is not a strategy, and got mad at the movie for stealing it from Mrs. Nerdrotic for fighting the good fight, and hail the Inquisition. Thank you, Malakot63 for $10, and thank you for acknowledging that hope is not a strategy is something Mrs. Nerdrotic has been saying for decades. So yes, I don't know. They probably, I'm sure, I don't know if she invented it, but she's been saying it forever. But hail. That's the J.J. Abrams one, right? Mission Impossible Fallout, was that the end?
Yeah, I mean it's I think it's one of them.
Bunny Rabbit Leg.
He first did the Mission Impossible 3, and then they did 4 with Simon Pegg.
Dude,
yeah,
I'm still not over Mission Impossible 1, Mr. Phelps being the bad guy. I just fucking fuck that shit.
I don't.
How fucking ridiculous.
No.
How God, and then you had John Voight playing him. I'm like, what?
I know.
Like none of that made sense at all. And
it was crap.
And I was so pissed. And like the people I was with didn't understand. I'm like, think about that they made a new Star Trek movie and Captain Kirk became the bad guy at the end. That's what they just fucking did to Mission Impossible. Fuck this shit. So yeah, I love Mission Impossible. Love the show. Grew up on the show. The best theme song ever. Best of luck and wishes to you and your family. Thank you. On your exudes from San Francisco. Stay safe, Gary. And hail my Lord Doomcock from Cisco Kid for $5.
Thank you, Cisco Kid.
The Random Red Shirt for $2. Screen Rants, best 15 episodes. What a load of crap. Of what? Star or Doctor Who? Screen Rant's always a load of crap. It is.
It is. It is. That's the one that had the Ron Moore article.
Yes,
I believe. I believe that's the one.
And they're the ones that had the the Doctor Who regenerating into a doggo.
Yeah, that's sad. I just want to let you know, brother. I got about maybe 20 minutes left.
Yep.
And I got to get some stuff done. Just want to give you a heads up.
No worries at all. Yeah, we're gonna have to probably end it at 3 hours on the dot because I haven't unpacked at all, but I think we can finish these super chats up. By the way, update from Friday Night Tide Super Chat Square Up is recorded. It'll be out like tonight or tomorrow morning. Thank you for your patience, and I thank all of you. I'm going to be caught up, but probably never. But this week, everything will be back on schedule, and got to get that algorithm going again. Ugh. Latino Slant for $4.99. Hail, brother. Polly here. I just watched Love and Monsters for the first time. I'm I'm so Doctor Who hooked, yet scared. Help. When do I stop? Doctor Who virgin. Well, if you liked Love and Monsters, then you're going to love the rest of it. It's not my favorite Doctor Who episode. It's still better than anything Chimbal has ever put out. But it's like, so will you stop? I don't know. I would say 50th anniversary. That's where you stop. Maybe season 8 of Capaldi, because there are 2 great Capaldi episodes in there, but it really does just fall to pieces after that. And the show gets inconsistent. Some people argue with me on that one, but honestly, seasons 9 and 10 are not very good. They're just flat out not very good. So I would stop at the 50th anniversary. And the quality does go down. Season 7 is half a good season, and half of it's like really boring and forgettable. But it does have an underrated classic, Asylum of the Daleks. I think that's a fucking great episode. I love that episode. But yeah, I would stop at the 50th anniversary. When would you stop, Doomcock? When did you stop? You stopped, was it
I couldn't take Clara. I couldn't take Clara anymore. So I stopped somewhat into the Matt Smith run. I came back to watch the premiere of Capaldi because I really love Capaldi. I thought he would have been brilliant. And then I'd see him like a jackass, like riding in a nightshirt on a horse, and the scripting was just terrible. And I just saw, well, they're going to waste Capaldi here. And then I came back for the one where he's in the castle and the figure is stalking him, and it's a solo episode because they said, well, Clara's not there. And okay. So I went and looked at that one, but that's all I watched.
Oh man, hold on to your helmet on this one, Doomcock. Hold on. I'm serious, dude. If you don't know this, I didn't know this until I just read it. I don't know if it's true. I got to fucking verify it.
Oh shit.
And listen, I got no problem with the alphabet community, but I got a problem with them being used just to fucking poke shit at fans and to vandalize characters. Garrett Russian Beard for $4.99. Have you seen the news that CBS is considering making Kirk bisexual on the new Star Trek Strange New World series?
Fuck you. Fuck you. No, I've not heard this. No, fucking bullshit. 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 This is a guy we've known forever. There has never been anything like that. That is just a fucking joke.
Let's just make everybody gay. Let's just make everybody gay. I mean, it's about inclusivity and diversity and representation, and they are 5% of the population here in San Francisco.
Right.
It's here in San Francisco.
Right.
So
that is absolutely ridiculous. That is ridiculous, and that is disrespectful. That is really disrespectful to the alphabet community itself, because it implies that gender and sexual preference is something that is a choice or is fluid. I mean, people are either born gay or they're not. Isn't that right? That's what they've been saying forever, is that people are born gay or straight. And that is just as bad as sending people to Jesus camp to be converted from being gay when they're not straight.
Yep.
I mean, so it's the same thing with Captain Kirk, or any character that was never gay. To convert them is the same thing as trying to convert gays to be straight. Let people be what they are.
More importantly, what does William Shatner think? That would be my question, because I think...
Well, he shouldn't even respond, or else they'd cancel him.
Yeah. Well, fuck. They're probably trying to do that as a troll anyway. Believe me, these are the people who said they make decisions to piss people off. That's what Michael Chabon said.
Yep.
He fucking straight up said it. So I'm going to look into that. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Of course, it doesn't matter, because these people have never made a single Star Trek episode. None of this is Star Trek.
Thing is,
none of it is.
You would think that was written into the parameters of the contract. You know, when they create these characters, Garrett, they do think about all that stuff. Okay, and they write up like, this is the character traits have to match, unless it's part of the fucking Prime universe that JJ created. That's part of that 25% different that everybody's denying, although everything seems to be about 25 to 75% different all the fucking time. But I'm sure it's just a coincidence, Doomcock. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just a... Fuck, that's...
Just like, yeah, I won't say
whatever.
it.
You know what? I'll deal with it when the time comes. Well, they're never going to make the damn thing anyway, so who cares? They're never going to make the thing anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, no. Oh, it's We Got This covered. Okay, well, no.
Okay.
No. Rumor, CBS considering this is from Red Shirts Always Die. We Got This covered. Was Kirk bisexual? April 18th, 2010. No. CBS considering making James Kirk bisexual. Red Shirts Always Die. Is Kirk bi? Tape Talk from...
So this is a lot of nonsense.
CBS, imdb.com. Is it from... Hang on. We Got This covered. Yeah, No, I'm not biting on that one yet.
Nah.
I don't bite on their shit. That We Got This covered is we make this shit up.
Right.
If I need a headline occasionally, but no, I haven't used them in a long, long time.
No. Okay, so it's bogus.
As a teacher, it's simpler. They're not reading, aren't taught writing, and aren't taught much knowledge. Why entertainment today is lacking. Peter Ford, you are correct. You are absolutely correct for $4.99. They when they are going to school, they're going to specialty schools. They're getting passed a lot easier now. Christ, they just passed my kid for his grade. He didn't finish shit. He didn't finish anything. Half the year is gone. They just passed him.
You passed.
It's like, so we're trying to get him on this online shit and it just doesn't. I mean, like it works, but should have called it Free Willy, says Mongo's Big Thanks for $1.99. Woo, Free Willy. Yeah. If mainstream media, it was a whore, she'd charge extra for sucking while sucking. Says Altfit for £5. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. Ankaris for Australian $5. I'd feel shame to take money for producing art like that. Kurtzman has no shame. Okay. He's running. Okay. Let's think about this. Roberto Orsi was the Star Trek guy. He's the one who got everybody in the Star Trek. Kurtzman was just the tag along. Then I don't know. I'm just guessing. Kurtzman puts a knife in Orsi's back, sends him packing, and takes it on, but doesn't know shit. That's the kind of guy that makes it in Hollywood. That's the kind of kid that does things because he rips everybody else's shit off. He's got no ideas of his own, and he's fucking creatively bankrupt piece of garbage, creative person. So, yeah, I have no problem dancing on the grave of Star Trek that Kurtzman is involved in, and they can fucking do it. You know what? Do it. Do it. Do the / Kirk and Spock. Go ahead. I dare you. I freaking dare you. And then, you know what? Go make a Star Trek movie. Oh, you can't because nobody's watching it anymore.
That's the real wrinkle, isn't it? When nobody gives a damn. Yep.
It's kind of like the tree falling in the woods. If something happens on a TV show that nobody watches, did it happen? Did it really happen? By the way, Star Trek Discovery, the numbers I've been told of how many people watch that fucking show are in the low hundreds of thousands. 200,000, 300,000 views per episode. Yeah. None of them hit 1 million. Not a single fucking one. So, and they have millions of people on, but it acts like a YouTube channel. You have a bunch of people subscribing, but a very small percentage of people engage. And it's usually between 7 to 12%. And it's no different. So it just depends on what CBS counts as a view. Now, if you're talking about people who watch the episode from start to finish, then the number's even smaller. And then all you have to do is go look in the real world and how many people there's not a lot of people who have seen Star Trek Discovery. It's a very few amount. It plays like an independent film. A bad one. Well, The Well of Lost Souls, says R. Fletch for $5. Yes. Hollywood. Yeah. Greetings, Father Gary and Father Doomcock. Hail to the wrenches to all my friends, and thank you for sending me positive energy. Surgery tomorrow. Hail. Cardinal Sin, I don't know what you're going in for surgery for, my friend, but
Cardinal Sin badly smashed his leg, like broke bones and bones, lots of bones in his leg. Trying to install an AC unit, and it fell on his leg, and just the poor guy. Cardinal Sin, man, I love your brother. I am so sorry that you are you're suffering like that. And I will be in touch with you later this week personally to check on you and see how you're doing. Also, I'm going to be watching those DVDs you sent me, and we'll be getting that rolling as well. I am so very sorry, Cardinal Sin. Brother, love you. I hope you feel better. I hope it goes well, and I will definitely be in touch with you.
Yeah, feel better, Gil. All right, get better, buddy. Let us know how it goes.
Absolutely.
Our
Good
Fletch.
God.
Yeah. Jam, you didn't have to send me a super chat. I feel like I wish I could send that back. If mainstream media, okay, I read that one. Thank you, R. Fletch. Muffin 1 for $5. All artists funnel their projects through their soul and will be from their past. If you dislike your past, the past of any avatar will be meaningless. Ooh, that was deep. Yes, true art does get funneled through the soul. I mean, I've done some artistic endeavors, and you can feel spent after you've drawn, for me, it was, drawing, basically illustrating. That's all I ever really did was illustrate. Or writing a book. I'm sure you feel like spent because you do put a piece of your soul into your art, if it's true art. And if it's meaningless, well, it shows. If you have no soul, it shows. If you've got no passion or no flair for life, I mean, Alex Kurtzman looks about as fun as a white piece of paper. As roadkill. Let me know if you want other Lord of the Rings characters woodburned. Chris Mead, I will let you know, and thank you for $5. Thank you. I will definitely let you know, Chris. Byron Yoder for $5. Dave should get a sentence of shoes one size too small until he disavows or explains his comments in that video while wearing socks with holes in them. Brian, while wearing socks with holes.
I like that. Tight shoes, socks with holes. I love it.
Hail all. Thoughts on the fate of DC streaming. Vaughn Max for $2. It's going to get absorbed into HBO Max, and I like DC streaming. I'm a little pissed about it. I thought it was actually a pretty good service and one that my kid actually liked. So he doesn't like Netflix. He doesn't like HBO Max. I haven't heard any official word. Have you, Vaughn Max, that it's probably going away? I can check.
Yeah. It's a sad thing.
Yeah,
it was a great service.
It was. I don't see anything. Yeah. Okay. Future is unclear. Yeah. It's going to get absorbed again. AT&T, $200 billion in debt. They're fucked. And DC Comics is screwed. And then if they're gone, well, Marvel can't support the market. Diamond right now, I think Diamond's kind of screwed. I think a lot of comic shops are wondering if Diamond's going to stay around. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Diamond has other divisions too. And if they don't have DC Comics propping them up, they had to, they required a loan to survive. I'm going to be doing some more homework on that stuff. I've seen
God.
Yeah. Oh, comic shops are just fucked.
I know it.
They can survive. They just need to wake up to a lot of shit, and they're the ones who have the power to force the creatives to shut the hell up and treat fans with respect. And none of them do it because they want to kiss the creators' asses. They're always, I kind of see it as selling out your customer when you favor kissing the creator's ass over protecting the customers. F the creators, make good product. And if I don't hear from you, great. If you can't say anything nice, then shut the fuck up. Okay, just shut the fuck up. Yeah, or go tell your friends. Go talk about it to your friends. But if you really feel the need to, for one, risk your career, risk my customers because you can't act like an adult online. You could still have debates. You could debate people like an adult, but if you're calling somebody a Yahtzee or just calling them assholes, You're wearing your uniform. The reason you're popular, the reason you're being followed is either because you're a good artist or more likely you're a good artist at Marvel, drawing Spider-Man. You're going to see very few of you are going to have your followings go beyond Spider-Man. Even Sean Gordon Murphy, who's an immensely popular writer, his Indiegogo's doing okay. It's doing okay. But there's a couple of YouTubers who did better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Nickelodeon ain't gonna cancel Paw Patrol. They announced that more episodes are continuing. Good, Nicholas Horton. We need fucking sanity. Stop. Do not. Okay. I'm not a fan of the police. Okay. I'm not like a rah-rah. There's good, there's bad. There's good, there's bad. If I was a business, I wouldn't do any business in a city that's canceling that and doesn't have anything to replace it. That's actually it's actually something that's brought up, that is thought out by reasoning, mature adults. So yeah, there's that problem. And truckers aren't going to drive into your city either. So good luck with that. I've always believed that Spider-Man has another power. That is when he uses his spider clinging ability, that his weight drops to between 1 to 5 pounds. That is how he is able to stay on the ceiling, false ceiling, or glide with the fabrics under his arms, says Muffet for $50. That's a lot of Muffet, number one. That's a lot of thought to put in. He has the proportional strength of a spider in human form, which is really fucking strong. He can jump. Now, as far as clinging to the ceiling, it might sound like it doesn't make sense, but bees shouldn't be able to fly either. And they do. So it kind of works for me. It does. The fact that, like, what you're saying, that he might pull some of the drywall down if he's stuck to the ceiling. No, it works for me. The physics of it work. If a spider was the size of a human, that would be a very scary thing. It would be a very dangerous, scary thing. If you were within 20 feet of it, you're dead. It can get you. So, have you seen how I saw one today? I was digging up my 1/6 scale Big Finish old Capaldi figure because I had an alternate head that I was going to put on it. And yes, I think about this shit. I'm like, I want to put my alternate head on my Capaldi today.
Sure.
That's what nerds do. I open up the box and there's a fucking spider sitting right there, and it jumps on me like instant. And it was like I blinked my eye, it jumped on me. It just and it went so fast it was like it teleported.
Oh yeah.
And I just flicked it off. I mean, spiders, I'm much bigger than the spider. I wasn't going to kill it or anything, but it was surprising to see. And they're fast. The fuckers are fast. Thank you for the $50, Muffet one. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Just remember that.
Right.
John Ellis Bush for £4.99. We need a show or audio drama like the Orville for Doctor Who. We need to take the madman with a box back for ourselves. Hashtag Hartnell first. Well, there is Big Finish. John Ellis Bush prior to, I would say, this year. It's been getting kind of woke. They are doing a Tom Baker 10th Doctor special at the end of the year that I will buy secondhand. But for the most part, if you want to do like a fan-made, I don't know why more fans don't do fan-made audio dramas for shit. Like do an audio drama for A Song of Ice and Fire. Do an audio drama for Harry Potter. It'd be fun.
Why not?
Do one for a comic you like. For something that's never adapted. You do a fucking Warhammer 40K audio dramas. If you guys, shit. It'd be easy. I mean, you can get studio quality now at home. I'm going to be changing my mics, and you get XLR, and then, dude, it's off to the races. You can play with anything with that. That would be kind of fun. I'd be into it. Classic comics for $5. Superheroes are basically cops. You're right. Investigate crimes, catch criminals. They're already going after the Punisher, and it won't stop there. Did a video on this. Classic comics for $5. I'm glad you did a video on it. I brought it up 2 weeks ago when they started canceling cops. They're going to come for superheroes because superheroes are cops. And we already saw some shithead on Twitter try to rationalize that Spider-Man's always been anti-cop and so is Batman. And then he said, if you didn't understand that, you're just stupid. So I'm sure the kid was 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Because you would have to have the mentality to realize that the bat signal was on the roof of a police department, and Commissioner Gordon was a cop, and Captain Stacy was a cop, and they've always worked with the fucking cops. Even though the cops have gone after Spider-Man before, he's always worked with them. That's a bullshit narrative. Batman would not be for looters. He would be beating the shit out of them.
He'd be beating the shit out of them. Damn right. Well, brother, I got to check out.
Yeah, brother.
But I want to thank you for having me on your show. I think this was a fun one.
This was a fun one, brother.
The time flew. I really had a lot of fun, and thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for coming on, dude. Plug your channel, man, before you go.
Please subscribe to youtube.com/overlorddvd. Also, the Harvey Zone is another channel where live streams go. And I just want to thank all of my subscribers. Also have a Patreon, patreon.com/doomcock, and subscribestar.com/doomcock as well. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you every Sunday on the Inquisition. And
That's
Gary,
right.
I guess you're going to soldier on for a few more super chats here.
Yep, I am.
Awesome, brother. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Take it easy, brother, and I will talk to you soon.
I will talk to you soon. Talk to you later.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty. Doomcock is awesome. Hail Doomcock, everybody. Hail Doomcock. Yeah, I gotta wrap this up, but we got a few more super chats we got to get through here, so we're gonna do it. Gary, in the early 90s, I bought comic book bundles at Walmart when I was a young teen. I heard this hurt the industry. Is this true? No. Charles Branch for $5. Comic books selling at a 7-Eleven, at Walmart, at a drugstore, local drugstore, helped comic book shops because it created it creates new comic book fans. There aren't comic book shops everywhere, but there are drugstores and 7-Elevens everywhere. And if somebody reads a comic book, all it takes is one. So I picked up my first comic book for 25 cents, Marvel Team Up number 42 with Spider-Man and Vision. Read that comic book, and guess what? A comic book fan was made. And then I went to comic stores and spent thousands of dollars, and then I made my own comic store. What we have is insecure. A lot of comic shop owners, this is their first business, or they've only ever worked in the comic book industry, so they don't have the best business acumen. They sometimes aren't very good people persons, and they can't see their nose past, they can't see past the nose on their face, quite frankly, and they don't have a lot of vision. I don't mean to harshly judge all of them, but some of them feel that way. And any comic shop owner who feels like a 7-Eleven is competing against you, well, then you have a problem. I had no problem. I was selling the 7-Eleven near me comics from my Diamond account, so he could sell comics at his store at the same price. You want to know why? Because he could make more comic book fans. I wasn't threatened by that. It's a spinner rack at a 7-Eleven. You're at a fucking comic store. We all sell the same shit. It's how we sell it. It's short-sighted, and it's what's ruined this industry, and I'm going to call this shit out right now. The entire industry, including DC and Marvel, listen to the same 5 or 6 guys for the last 2 decades in the comic book industry. And now you're finding out they didn't really have the comic industry's best interest at heart. They had their own shop's best interest at heart, Brian Hibbs. Brian Hibbs doesn't drive a car. Brian Hibbs barely leaves San Francisco. He doesn't have the best worldview on things. He has a San Francisco worldview, which is fine. But he also has only ever worked in a comic shop, and he's never worked anywhere else. He's not the kind of person you want to ask about an entire industry. When it comes to dollars and cents, when it comes to working a comic shop, I don't think there's people who know much more than Brian does as far as dollars and cents and numbers on his individual shop, which is a bookstore. It's not necessarily a comic store. Brian Hibbs told me forever back issues were stupid, but I sold them anyway. Why? Because I knew he was full of it. I love back issues. I was into back issues. You have to be into back issues to be able to sell them. Brian wasn't into back issues. He wasn't into Marvel. He likes his trades. He likes his indie books, and he kind of likes DC. Well, not anymore. And that's what your store reflects. The store will reflect the owner. So Brian Hibbs has been around for decades, longer than I have. He knows more about, again, a lot of the ins and outs and the SKUs and stuff than I do. But I've also done other things. I've also run other businesses. I've also been in other cities. I also know how to drive a car. So, fucking, it just depends. And you had a brain trust that you shouldn't have trusted, comic book industry. One that wanted to keep things the same. One that didn't want change to come. Or if it did, it had to benefit those 5 guys you talk to all the time. And guess what? You made a stagnant industry that's now fucking dying. Is that harsh? It's about time somebody says something fucking harsh about this. Everybody's being way too kumbaya, and it's going to be all right. It's not going to be fucking all right. You know what? If you're a comic shop owner, it is not going to be all right. That's what you got to wake up right now. And it sucks because after the last 3 months, you've been waking up in fear and uncertainty have been your life. But it got a lot of you to fucking kick yourself in the ass and innovate. And now your store survived. Well, you're going to need to do that a little bit longer. You're going to need to do that a little bit longer. Whew. Yeah, that shit gets me fired up. JP, because you know what? I was saying this shit 10 years ago, and I literally got laughed at one time when I brought it up. And it stuck with me. It did. It really did stick with me because, you know what? I don't need to be right all the time. I don't. But I recognized it then, and now here we are. And the comic industry is facing all of their consequences of their complacency, and I was just like begging them to fucking do something fun. But Diamond had no interest in doing that. And again, if you go to Diamond Comics distributors and you look at them, look at their logo. Do they look like they sell comic books or they distribute comic books? They look like they distribute sporks. JPRPH1, thank you for the fist bump. I appreciate it for $2.99. Irving Spiderman for $5. That video is the latest in celebrity fart sniffing. It is. Oh, that I take responsibility. Canceled Venom for 2 Canadian pesos. 2021 superheroes will fight crime with Red Rover. Yeah. Superheroes will, I don't know if they'll be around. They'll probably get canceled because they're too much like cops. And they won't be Spider-Man anymore. It'll be the Spider because you got to drop the gender specific shit. I take the responsibility to send you money for showing this. Thank you, R. Fletch, for $5. I appreciate it. John Doe for $10. I will not make any deals with you. I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. The prisoner. Oh, Doomcock would have loved that. I want to be classified. Oh, wait. I want a suburban home. I want to be classified. I'm trying to think of the words of the Descendants song, which I used to know by heart, which I don't know now, but I'll get back to it. That's a lot like that. I want to be a statistic. I want to be a clone. I want a suburban home. Gary, your Friday Night Tights intro is far better than the terrible current Doctor Who intro. Nicholas Horton, thank you very much. And we need to praise Perry Chan. Perry Chan is a fucking genius. Check him out on YouTube. Mr. Songbird, I think it's at Mr. Songbird, but just go, it's my pinned tweet. Go look at it. It's fantastic. I asked him to put a little something together, and I think he already had something together before I asked. I think he anticipated. So he's the shit. Karen Kruger for $5. The Fandom Menace / Geeks Plus Gamers / Nerdrotic / Doomcock should make a parody of the Hollywood Apology video. It would be pure Latinum to see it. I think we should. I think every single fucking time they do a video like that, we should retort immediately with that. I don't think it's too late to make a parody on that. I don't think so at all. I'll get with the guys. And Cars for $5 Australian. Wait, what? You're not following me on Twitter, Mr. Doom? Cancelled. Route 69 for $5 Australian. I think Hollywood is creating more racists on all sides with their narratives rather than the other way around. You are correct. We are classifying people. We are calling people. They were using the term, again, I hate this, person of color. And by the way, you're denying, in a way, isn't that denying the black experience? I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm left out of all this stuff because apparently I'm white, so I'm the evil of all evils now. Nothing's changed in my life then. Listen, I see people as individuals. I would like to call people by their name, the name that they would like me to call them. As far as identification, that never comes up with me. I never go, "Hi, Sam, straight person." I just don't. It doesn't. And I don't want to be identified. Like I am a grateful, recovering alcoholic and addict. I don't want that to be what I'm identified at, that my soul being. It's the first thing I think of every day, and it's the most important thing to me, but I don't want to be identified as that. I don't want to be identified as anything. You know what? It depends on the day. It depends on what I'm doing. And now there's people who identify with mental illness, which means they don't want to fix it, because you can fix it. With some, not all. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And hopefully the backlash, hopefully there's a big logic backlash that comes after this, because we need one. We need some extreme, we need some Vulcan extremists, logic extremists. I think, yeah, you're right, Route 69. Michael Henley for $11. Illinois is still shut down. Never move to Illinois. It's god awful. How is it still fucking shut down? Oh my God. I think the politicians are going to really regret shutting people down for a long, long time. Y'all are going to fucking vote all their asses out of office, aren't you? You're being quiet about it, but come next November, the guy who says, "I'm not going to lock you down for as long," is going to be the guy who wins, or gal who wins. He could create his own party, like the not lockdown party. Jane Theory. When Disney kind of forgot that the OG characters are the heart and soul of the franchise and left good storytelling behind, they lost many fans forever, and rightly so. Thank you for the $10, Jane Theory. And please go check out Jane Theory's channel. It's great. Miguel Badukan for $5. Hang in there, Gary. You and the fan need help or just a friendly ear? I'm more than happy to help in any way I can. In East Bay myself, you are not alone. Miguel, thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate that. I do. And email me. Maybe we can go get some coffee someday. All right? Especially if you're a local yokel. Hail the Inquisition, says Zachary Moore. Thank you for the $9.99. I appreciate it. The words media synergy are lost on Comic Pub. Media synergy. Fawn Doofus. They're lost everywhere. George Orwell for $24.99. Oh, bet you. Why don't you just say "I told you so" all the time, George Orwell? That's what I'd be doing. Evening Brothers. When they made sure Han, Luke, and Leia would never get together, I abandoned Disney Star Wars, and I haven't looked back. And that's why you're smart, George Orwell. You're a genius. Matt G for $1.49. A phallic unicorn. Thank you very much. Deceptions Forever for $5 Australian. Recommended Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition to all who have yet to see it or didn't know about it. Watched it twice this week. Removed disdain I have for DCU. I have watched it, and I genuinely get some enjoyment out of it. I do. Straight white male for 5 Canadian pesos. Gary, did you do pen time? Yes, I did. Just finished a nickel for banks. Oh, really? Note job, a bank note job. Reform now. Love you. And I'm glad to hear that. Straight white male. Got a wicked sleeve out of the deal. Burnt butter. Well, I didn't get a sleeve. Because I got my prison tattoo like old school style, like with a needle poking it in like this. But yes, I did pen time. I was at Folsom. I didn't do a nickel. I did 4 years. 4 years. So a nickel's a long time, man. That's a long time. But you got halftime on that, right? So it wasn't really a nickel, or did you actually do a full nickel? Shit. Have you heard of Quinn's Ideas? makes great videos on Dune and Game of Thrones. He's making a graphic novel about witches that sounds good. Jen, for $5, thank you very much. I subscribe to Quinn's Ideas. I follow him on Twitter. I think he follows me. I would love to talk to him. The guy is brilliant, and I love his fucking Game of Thrones videos, and I love his theories. So I would love to nerd out with that guy someday about just A Song of Ice and Fire. Hell yeah. Definitely check out Quinn's Ideas. There is a difference between wanting people to say things you want to hear and not tolerating them saying things you don't have the right to say. Finger pointing, insults, etc. are group 2 and unacceptable, says Roxyon for 10 Canadian pesos. You guys are so fucking smart. You just are. You just are. Captain Spire, the way entertainment is progressing, you have a better chance to make predictions using a dartboard. Package and route. Use that cheddar for the move. Thank you for the $5. Thank you. I appreciate Captain Spire. Bear Nerd Fun. Thank you for the 99 cents in the super chat. I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm running out of time. I'm going to get to as many as I can. Rewatching Babylon 5. This is some damn good sci-fi, says Miguel Batacan for $2. That's what everybody says, and I need to get through it. I do. Scotty could have saved him if he would have taken him straight to sickbay. Yes, R. Fletch, you're right. Peter Preston, Scotty had to be all dramatic and bring him up to the fucking bridge instead of taking him directly to sickbay. I know, but it was still a good scene for $5. Hans von Butterdutch, thank you for the $1. I appreciate it. The Belgian Syrup Prince for £2. You guys rock. Greetings from Belgium. Belgium rocks. Thank you very much. Crispy Critters, good stories are timelines. Thank you, Crispy Critters, for $2. Southeastern Kaiju, thank you for the $3 and the thumbs up. Master Wave, thank you for the $1.99. It says, hey you, Seattle is live action Animal Farm, Route 69 for Australian $2. That is so true, and we're seeing it. It's so stupid. I'm enjoying watching it degrade. It'll degrade. Nobody has to do anything at this point. I mean, the mayor should do something, and she should be in jail for not doing something. But no, and all those businesses, class action lawsuit will be epic. And that mayor how she's not getting recalled right now, I don't understand. Gallifrey burning is a metaphor for the fandom. The Wolf and the Storm for $2. Yes, it is. Everything was a metaphor for the fandom towards the end of the Timeless Children. Dean Krantz, who is not related to Dean Koontz, thank you for the $2. I greatly appreciate it. The Doctor is no longer here. You are stuck with me. Oh, Peter. We had no idea just how true this would become. John Ellis Bush. I got you. $4.99. Hollywood people have no survival skills. No, they don't. Well, some of them do, and some of them don't. You have to be somewhat of a survivor to make it in that town. But they don't realize that their houses will be the first to burn. Some nobody for $2. You read that email where I BTFO'd Jer's argument. I have not read that email, but I will read it. Some nobody. I can only imagine. Yeah, I don't prescribe to Jeremy's argument. We disagree on it, but guess what? We're still friends. Hail Doomcock, glory to Nerdrotic. Fun fact, if you look hard enough, you can find Roddenberry's B-17 on the Enterprise D diagrams. Oh, really? WF Hornet for $5. I will check that out. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The Wolf in the Storm is joined at the proto-molecule level. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Davies gave who an out. Only said other creatures who took the name, not necessarily the Doctor. Write off Jodie as an imposter. I would love to see it that way, Eric Stoller. But you're right. It was just the timeless child who can regenerate and turn into anything multiple times, making the Doctor a superhero Time Lord, which is stupid, which is dumb. I fucking hate it. It's no longer about the fans. It's about two things and two things only: political correctness and the almighty dollar. McQueen, fan 73 for $14.99. Yes. CBS All Access, and it's AXIS R Fletch for $5. Yes. Check out the Titan Mouse. Check out the Mouse of Might on Indiegogo, says Gary Shipman, Artist Pro, for $2. That is called the Titan Mouse. Check out Titan Mouse of Might on Indiegogo. Thank you, Gary Shipman. I appreciate that. Hail Doomcock and the Nerdy One. I don't know what to say anymore. Someone please hit Alt F4 on the simulation. Yeah. No, we're going to make it. I know I've been saying that, and I know things have been getting worse, but we're still here. We're still together. And I think the upswing was coming, and I think that's what's behind on some of this, but I'll talk about it on the Exozone. Since the doctor can be an animal now, I think my dog would make a good doctor. If he doesn't get the role, then the BBC are speciesist, says Grandpappy Fist for $5. Well, they already are, obviously. Gary Shipman, Artist Pro, donates $1. Thank you very much. Dave Filoni proves the statement. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, says Carrion Witch in Residence for 5 Canadian pesos. Thank you very much. Gary, what do you think of Caprica with Eric Stoltz? I liked it. I did. Andre Fernandez for 20 ARSs. I don't know what those are. Last of Us 3 starring Little Yota. Yes, Muffet one for $2. Would either of you two be interested in Facebook Comic NZ live stream? I'm open to any live stream. Just email me at gary@nerdrotic.com. And if we could work out a time, sure. I'm hell to get a hold of, though. You got to be persistent. Hang on just a second, folks. Alt Fit. Retarded left statement of 2020. Prioritizing mental melanated voices. Melanated voices? That is pretty retarded. Will Sting, Andy Summers, and Stuart Copeland get canceled next? Probably Adam Warlock. They're going after Howard Stern, and I wouldn't be sad if he went, to be honest with you. We need a show I already read that one. All right. I'm going to have to end it in a few. I'm trying to get to as many as I can, but I'll put them in the square up that's going to get released tomorrow. I'm really sorry, but I do have to bust out. Oh my God. I'm trying to find where I left off. Hail the Inquisition, says Zachary Moore. The words media... and I read that one. Okay, so let's get down here. And there's the thumbs up. Rewatching Babylon. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is my favorite Star Trek film ever. The callbacks to Khan in the original series makes the whole thing... Montalban and Shatner, or Montalban, goddammit, Montalban, Ricardo Montalban, and Shatner are at their best. Absolutely. Shatner's acting performance in there is spot fucking on. He hits every note. It's gut-wrenching at the end when he's talking about Spock. It's fucking gut-wrenching. It's like worse than Old Yeller shit, to me, anyway. So the Fixer one, you're right, for £5. I find it funny how the culture left is acting like orcs with their need to burn the stories in history, or acting like orcs with their need to burn stories in history of the West, much like the orcs in the Lord of the Rings orcs. Yep. And you want to get into something weird? Look into what the sequel was going to be to the Lord of the Rings. Find the Men of the West channel. He talks about it briefly. And it's very interesting because it's about counterculture. Josh Leak for $5. Route 69 for Australian $2. They would ban all that's not mandatory. Yes. Phelps, never say another movie. R. Fletch for $2. Jabu's Realm for $1.49. Thank you for the phallic unicorn. I appreciate it. Bell's Nickel for $5. Nerdrotic. We moved a bunch. Think about Pittsburgh, Virginia, and Katy, Texas. We love them all. Katy, Texas. I'm going to remember Katy, Texas. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare to move this fucking house. I mean, a fucking nightmare. Nightmare. But we're going to have to get it done and do all this, but we're going to get it done. So Warner Brothers, the same Warner Brothers that released the theatrical Justice League, thinks a standalone Superman film would be ill-advised. Do they still believe that? Mark C for $5. That is fucking stupid. Then they don't deserve Superman. McQueen fan 73 for $4.99. I've done far worse than kill you. Oh, I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you. Freaking priceless. R.I.P. Ricardo Montalban. Gary, what do you think of Berserk so far? I like it. Bonsley 405. It is bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. And I got to admit, the art takes a little bit getting used to and also reading a book backwards. But I like it. No, and it would it's a pretty fucking good story. I will I'll do like a live review of when I finish the first book, but it's going to be a while. That's a thick fucking book. And I'm about to embark on season 2 of Blake 7. So, and I'm also finishing my A Song of Ice and Fire reviews that I'm long overdue on for Patreon. So what I decided to do was read all of Tyrion's chapters in The Dance with Dragons, to kind of speed it up. I'm also rereading the Boiled Leather, or no, the Feast for Dragons version, but I decided to read just all of Tyrion's chapters and do a Tyrion predictions thing. Because I have some theories on Tyrion. I've got 2 chapters to go. But honestly, the last couple days, I was working on that video I released today, all day yesterday from 8 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. I recorded 3 different versions of it. I mean, essentially it's all the same, but yeah, I put some stuff in there and then I'm like, shit, I'm going to make this a whole other video. So I had to redo half the video because I got a bunch of rumors. I got a bunch of fucking juicy ass Doctor Who rumors. And I'm like, well, shit, that's got to be its own video. So that's coming next. You know, ratings good was when chat. You know, ratings are good when chat says push the button, says Brown Gaijin for $2. Ah, Brown Gaijin. On that note, let Harvey out. Let Harvey out for $2. Yes. Terminus Est for $5. Doomcock, have you read the Ichibaka post I told you about on Frolics? Lose your faith in Dave Filoni, all ye who enter here. Oh, he did. I think he did a video. He already did a video on Dave Filoni. I don't know if you saw it because the notifications didn't go out for that one. So there's something funny going on YouTube, I tell you, because I've gone to my account twice, and up on top, they usually send you little notes, and I keep getting my "you just passed 100,000 subscribers, congratulations" note. Well, that was a year ago, right at this time. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Underwater Panther for $20. Glad Gary is back on the job because Nerdrotics without the room is like Batman without the utility belt. Sent you some stuff, details in the email from Up Gang. Thank you, Underwater Panther, for $20. I appreciate it. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back. And believe me, when I move, the first thing I set up is the new room. I'll try. It won't look exactly like this because it's bigger. It's bigger. Whatever that room will be, it'll be bigger. More people watch Doomrotic than Star Trek Discovery. Regards, PJ. Says Nerd TV for $5. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that sucks because I want more people to watch Star Trek than me. What would the American Doctor Who be? Guy with an ATM? Doyle Hargrave for $2? Yeah. It'd be terrible. No good for $2 Canadian. Do you have merch? Your Teespring store is down. I do not sell merch. I give it away. So what you do is you go follow me on Instagram, Instagram.com/Nerdrotic. And we do Swag Sunday, which is run by Mrs. Nerdrotic. It's like once a month, twice a month. And if she puts up a post and you follow me and you comment on that post, that enters you to win swag like TV shirts, beanies, buttons, stuff like that. That's what we do. I will eventually sell a t-shirt at some point. I will. But I have to stay on top of it. And I'm barely hanging on right now. This is a lot of work. Remember when the Marvel Star Wars Treasury Edition sold at around $100? I thought I bought it for $12. How mighty have the fallen? How have the mighty fallen? Oh, you mean, hang on, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. Hang on. You mean this Treasury Edition? Oh, yeah. I just have it. I mean, it was almost at arm's length. Howard Chaykin. It's almost at arm's length. That's right. Yes, Mark, you judge ye by your collectibles. And what's fucking worth money? Cyberfrog on eBay. Basil the Pumpin' Seagull for 5 Canadian pesos. Wow, you beat the Doom thingy for once in staying power. LOL, the Pumpkin Seagull still loves you though. Why, thank you. I love you too. But no homo. Just a little. Identifying people by anything other than their name is dehumanizing. Route 69 for 5 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. I'm a humanist. I judge people individually, just like Dr. King said, man. Content of character. All right. So if I missed the super chat, I apologize. I gots to go. I gots to go. Stream as you box up your office. It would be amazing to hear the history of that collection. Hail to you that value the customer service. Finbar Hooley for $5. Thank you very much. Customer service is the single most important thing in comic books and entertainment right now. And until they figure it out, they're fucked. Nerd TV, thank you for joining at the proto-molecule level. And what's with Filoni's voice? So effing effeminate. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of estrogen going on there, right there. Terminus S for $2. So if I missed your super chat, it will be attached to the super chat square up that I will be releasing. I apologize. I really do have to go. I ran over a half an hour. Thank you, Mr. Gentleman, for joining at the proto-molecule level. Thank you to Eric K, Chris Persia, Stellar Heather, Bionic Belly Button, Lori Wilson, and I'm looking at these are my Modrotics. They're lovely, beautiful, smart people. Chris, and thanks for jumping on that on Type 40's live stream earlier today and helping him out with that. You're just a freaking gentleman, dude. And welcome back, Starry Eye Girl. She came back on YouTube. She's not going to come back to Twitter. She's doing fine. She's better off without a bunch of little shits trying to make her life miserable. So the guy blocked me. I could never say anything to him. So thanks everyone again. Thank you for your super chats. I cannot tell you how much you've helped the family over the last couple of months, especially, but over this whole period of time. And I hope I have earned it. I hope I've earned it. And I will be back live tomorrow. Probably a little later. You're going to get a lot of videos from me. I know I say that a lot, but you're going to get some low tier videos because I got a lot to say. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I feel pent up after vacation. So hope you are all safe. First and foremost, I hope you are all safe. And you know, it's not the end of the world, folks. It's tough. It is tough. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, not all who wander are lost, and may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.